What's up? What's going on? What is going on? Good people. I always say what's up, good people, even though we say a lot of things around here that we don't sound like the good people all that much, but I still like to say that. I still like to say that. But what's up? What's going on? Shout out to everybody. Like to thank everybody who's in the building. Thank you for your patience. I know I originally said it was going to start at 10 a.m. I changed it to 10:20 because, well, I had to. But we in here, we in the building. Let's get ready to go. We'll be joined by Hood Conservative. I know we always do uh, hard-hitting controversial shows whenever I bring on the Hood Conservative Culture and Politics reviews. You know how it go. Let's get ready to go. Let's get this thing started. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
All right. We in here, we in the building. What's going on, good people? Like I said in the pre-intro ramble, always say what's up, good people, when I start the show, even though we don't be sounding like the good guys over here. We do not be sounding like the good guys over here. But anyway, like to thank everybody who's in the building. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Shout out to the early bird squads, those that make it in bright and early. Perfect Storm said just stopping to hit the like button. Catch y'all later. Yeah, I think he normally catch it after it's uploaded. I do appreciate that. Logan JJ in the building. Hood Conservative dropped a comment. He down in the back, ready to come up. That's me telling y'all I'm gonna be late. Shout out to myself in the comment section. Laughing Dog. Wow, that's interesting. That's an interesting name. Cool Kamazi in the building. Shout out to Uneducated. Oh shit. Apologize for that one. Shout out to Uneducated Lame in the building. He said Saturday morning takedown. E Capone in the building says, what's up, everybody? Shout out to Kaya in the building says, good morning to all in the room. Ukraine and Russia about to go to war. Yeah, we're going to feel higher prices here in USA. Mayo Monkey with the grenade. Shavar Boyd, I should say. And speaking of this one right here, Hood Conservative said he woke up early to start some start some shiznit. So we about to go ahead and get it started then. What's going on? Welcome to the show. Welcome back.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, everybody, man. Thanks for having me up. Glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, we about to dive right into this. Excuse me. We got a number of things on the table that we about to get into. It was one thing. Well, I'll just start out before we even get into what we're going to be breaking down. You had said in the email that the whole FBA foundational Black Americans and the Black immigrants. What is their fancy name?
They don't really have one. I mean,
Yeah,
diaspora, I guess you call them, but
yeah,
they don't
okay,
really have a acronym.
okay, that's what I was trying to see. I was trying to see if they had a. I was trying to figure out if they had a catchy acronym too. But we got ADOS, African descendant of descendant of slaves, FBA, find that foundational Black Americans, and we kind of just call them, what them other niggas. Like I don't know, I don't know what they call it. But anyway, I didn't know that it was even any type of beef between Black Americans born here generationally, I guess going back to slavery, versus those who came over later. I didn't know that that was a thing where those two had a beef going. I didn't know that until I started a YouTube channel and I saw the war, I saw the Civil War take place live on my panel, where
Yeah.
somebody's point was invalidated because even though I thought it was a good point, but his great great granddaddy wasn't a slave, so he had no right to be weighing in on I guess whatever black on the stuff black people going through today, because his great 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 granddaddy wasn't a slave. So before we even dig into it, just give us your general uh just your general view on the whole um Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, ADOS, African descendant of slaves, Black Americans, or American descendant of slaves, Black Americans, versus the Black immigrants and this whole so-called back and forth that they got going on. What's your general take on all of that?
Well, first off, full disclosure, I am a half immigrant, I guess you could say, because like my father is, hell, I think my dad snuck over here illegally. He told me a long time ago, which is even funnier. like, like his name was like Melvin, some real square white bread name. It was hilarious that he
Yeah.
was telling me the story. But he snuck over here at one point, and then he naturalized later. But so yeah, I'm half immigrant,
Where
I
did
guess. So
where did he
I
sneak
kind of
over from?
Saint Kitts, a little Caribbean island.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little tiny island. Not a lot of people have heard of it, but so that
What
happened. So I always kind of had like a foot in the two worlds, and I could see the difference between the two camps when I was younger, but it wasn't quite as like pronounced as you see now, where it's just open acrimony.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. What year did your dad make it over here?
I'm not totally sure
You
what exact year. I was born in 81, so it was
right.
most likely in the late 70s.
That's what I was getting at. So you're roughly, I was born in 82, so we were pretty much the same age. And when I talk to you, I see we're both two soon to be 40-year-old Black men. Okay. I don't see a difference in that if my great great granddaddy, great 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 granddaddy was on a plantation versus your daddy hopping the fence or swimming over here or crawling under, however the hell your daddy got here. Either way it go, we both were two Black babies born in the early 80s and are two grown ass soon to be 40-year-old Black men here right now. When I look at it like that, I honestly don't see any difference. The only area where I see some difference is those who like just got off the boat. Like they literally just got off the boat. Now I don't see a difference in the way in terms of like the Civil War on my panel, but I do see a difference in that person, in that the same way that there's a difference with a white guy who lived his whole life in Liverpool or wherever, and he come over here speaking with an accent, and he's I do see him as not American, but if he go through the process get his citizenship, then it is what it is. Like, I can see a difference there, but some people they get ridiculous with it, where somebody who was born here, they invalidate their blackness because they find out that, oh, your dad came over from Jamaica or whatever back in 1973. It's like, what? I never understand that. It's just it blows me away. It
I
blows me away.
suspect because we are in a very similar age group, same age group rather. So I suspect we kind of had this certain molding as young black men, the idea of pan-Africanism. Like what you're describing, that, we're all black together, is a thought that was introduced to us at a certain point. It's an ideology that was crafted before we ever got here. And so we kind of come up under this thinking, and I'm not saying it's wrong either. I don't resent it at all. But what I'm saying is that pan-Africanism is actually under threat. And it's a weird thing to see black people destroy pan-Africanism live on air. That's amazing, because I always thought we were all black together. But now I get on Twitter and I'm listening to like the Tariq Nasheed Twitter spaces, and they're flat out like, nah, you Africans ain't black. And that only doubles down what I've been saying all this time, this last year, arguing with people about this politics and this black shit. The way you guys talk about blackness, it is not intrinsic. It is a set of behaviors and beliefs. So therefore, Sean King can be black, because you guys made blackness a prescription that all you have to do is act a certain way, think the right things, and you can get a black card.
Yeah. I see Jackie Jack in the chat said it's a cultural difference. That's what they point out. Now, that's not the one I was looking for. Right here. This one, it's you are looking at it from an individualistic versus a community standpoint. It is a lot more nuanced. What's your general thoughts on that statement?
I'm not sure how to totally parse out that statement in and of itself.
Yeah,
What I will say is my general take, go to understand exactly where he's going with that, because I think the Black Americans are in a little bit of a bind from an argumentative standpoint, because the Black Americans are the ones who created the pan-Africanism in the first place. I think individual African tribes and groups would have been fine being separate Black people until this pan-Africanism came along.
Yeah,
so I don't know how.
It was Black people on their back to Africa talk, lingo, and rhetoric that created, I'm assuming, because I don't even know the whole history of it, that created the whole pan-Africanism, and how, we all are one group, one species. But even amongst Africans, they got their own separate countries and separate tribes within that, to where they're looking at them other Africans over there as them, as separate from them. So it turns into a goofy thing, but it is interesting now when we see the Tariq Nasheeds of the world knocking it down, because it's like a division amongst the pro-blacks, the people who are just pro-black with their fist in the air. It's a division. It's a division. Some of them there's the African Diaspora Channel. I forgot the name of the guy. Philip Scott. There's his camp over there. Then there's the I think Umar falls in a similar camp. Dr. Umar Johnson falls in a similar camp, but the Tariq Nasheed of the world not going. And then when you get on the conservative side of things, because one of the clips you sent me, it was like the Candace Owens, who's not I guess she was born here, but I think her parents are from the Caribbeans or something like that. That that's one side of it. It's like it's a lot of different sides of the coin. It was another one that I can't even think of. Another group of people. Then then there's the, well, they're coming over here, they're getting all of our grants and scholarships and this or that or blah 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 stuff that's supposed to belong to us. They're over here taking it. It's so many different camps where it's like to me it sounds like black people fighting over nothing. I don't know. I don't.
Actually, I don't know if there are as many camps as you would claim. I think what's
Okay.
happening, the so far from my little vantage point, examining this whole debacle, what I can see is that there is an argument over a certain kind of way of being, and that's why I sent you the clip where if
Yeah.
you get into the politics of it, and you see a lot of those people, what they had in common: one, they were speaking against reparations, and two, they were immigrants or children of immigrants. And so I think there's a certain structural reality that black immigrants, even if they are somewhat pro-black, they have no leg to stand on when it comes to things like reparations. So a lot of them would just be ideologically opposed to reparations because it's like, listen, I don't even see the point. Whereas a lot of the black Americans are invested in the whole concept. And so from like that one nugget, a lot of splits happen where it's like the immigrants are flat out calling the black Americans lazy. And the black Americans are flat out telling the immigrants, listen, nigga, you've been here long enough. Go back home, take your shit and go. And it's fascinating. Like black people have now become the white people of black people. It's amazing to see that shit.
Oh. Damn. Do you think
I
the
mean, we are
immigrant?
telling these niggas to go home.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true. But that's something that we're going to get into. I'm going to roll the clips in order that you sent them, because the first clips you sent me wasn't even about that. But that was something that was interesting. You had sent me something about the guy. Damn, let me pause this. The guy, he's the head of a school. I don't know what the hell is his name. Well,
Yeah,
his
and he's the
Twitter
head. I
handle
just looked
is.
into him.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I just looked into him. It's not like some rinky-dink school. This is Silver Spring, Maryland. You're in like one of the nicest parts of the nicest part of the country.
Mm-hmm. And this, what I'm about to pull up, this is more just so deals with just the victim mentality. I'll read what was posted here. The person who posted it I think there's somebody else describing it, but head of school, Twitter handle at his name popped up right there, Dr. Glasgow. Rodney Glasgow of Sandy Springs Friends School. Hold on. Sandy Springs School offers a co-ed preschool age 3 to 12th grade college preparatory curriculum based on Quaker values and taught by a dynamic faculty. All right, cool. Awesome. Little backstory on him. All right, the head of school, Rodney Glasgow of Sandy Springfield's Friends School, describes driving onto his own campus and fearing becoming the next George Floyd when politely questioned by a 16-year-old girl. This is what happens when being made to feel. That was already that's what inspired the title. We don't care about your feelings, or I forgot what I titled the video. We don't
How
care
you're
about.
made to feel. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody cares about how you're made to feel. This is what happens when being made to feel, something that I just don't think men should be saying, is confused with reality. And does he have his ID yet? Now let's listen to this. I want to try to
But the first day I
pull it
rolled
back to the
out,
beginning. Let me pause it, make it bigger. Hopefully everybody could see it. All right, so we got the backstory. Let's roll it.
but the first day I rolled out, and they were there. And the 16-year-old white girl who has the face mask on, comes over to me. And remember, I'm the new head of school in a virtual school. She had not seen me before. So not her fault. She didn't recognize me. And she said, "Sir, can I ask why you're coming on campus?" Already tight. Already tight. That a white person's asking me, why am I coming on campus? And I'm looking like, this is my campus. Like this is all 140 acres. I'm the head of this whole thing. That's what was in my mind. In my actions, I put my hands on my steering wheel and I looked straight over and I didn't make any sudden moves. And I said, "I'm not with the summer camp. I'm the new head of school, Rodney." And she goes, "No, actually, I didn't say that. I didn't say I was the head of school. Sorry. I said, I work here." Plantation mentality. I didn't want to pull rank or seem belligerent. And she said, "Oh, okay. Do you have your work ID?" Got even more flustered. "Well, I'm new. I don't have the ID yet," right? And hands on the steering wheel, but not shaking a little bit. "I'm new." And she said, "Okay." I said, "Finally," I said, "I'm the new head of school. I'm Rodney." And she goes, "Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. Of course, Rodney, now please come through. I'm so sorry." And I said, "You were doing exactly what you were supposed to do. No problem." To this day, I still don't have that ID. And I think every time I drive up to this campus, how you could be the head of school and a 16-year-old white female student could approach your car and make you feel as if you make one sudden move, you could be dragged out of your own car, thrown to the ground, and you could be the next George Floyd.
All right, you go first.
Well, first off, he is molding young minds. Remember, he is like the dean. He's the head of the school. So the people who mold young minds have to answer to this bitch ass nigga, like right off the bat. And then that's wrong. You know, I noticed something years ago. Excuse me. I noticed something a few years ago. I'm in Brooklyn and I was taking my kids to like local PS, whatever. And as I would like walk around the school and I would come up there for different stuff, after a while, I kind of got to do a rough head count of who like the staff was. The only straight black man in the building was like a janitor, maybe a security guard, not like a cop. But yeah, the only straight black man in the building was a janitor. There were straight men, but there was like one or two older white guys. But like the masculinity was just lacking in general. And then as far as like black people, it was just none. And so I think this is a pattern that repeats itself in school districts. Because from what I'm seeing, as I talk about all this weird woke stuff, it's like a lot of the weirdos in the world want to teach the kids for some reason. And I'm starting to get uncomfortable with that.
All right. I didn't go that angle. I didn't even look at this from a perspective of, I mean, I see a lot of people in the chat room calling him gay. I didn't even, that didn't jump out to me. I mean, granted, okay, yeah, it's a safe bet, but
it's not his gayness. Let's be clear. It's not his gayness that I'm really getting at.
All right, so what's okay? So then, what's your problem then with what he said? I'll get into what I find problematic. What's your then problem with what he said? I mean, oh shit. Okay, I didn't know that, dude. Hold on, time out. We got to deal with this. I don't know if I can make that zoom. If y'all can see, he got okay. He do got on green green, dark green, and then lime green nail polish. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna make fun of his gay stuff. Like and then whatever he's wearing, he's got on like some kind of Star Trek bad guy costume. He looks all kind of crazy. But I'm not even trying to go there. Listen to what was said. A grown
that's
man.
What I care. That's the part I care more about. All right.
It's baked into the cake, so I had to kind of build it up because this is like a character type here. But a grown black man who is relatively accomplished and established in the world is still afraid of a 16-year-old white girl, bro. There's something going on here.
Yeah, that was the part that, okay. My biggest takeaway, is like, how bad do you want to be a victim? Okay. You pulled up at a school. I'm assuming that because he did say that 16-year-old girl was doing exactly what she's supposed to do. So I'm assuming that I don't know that she is supposed to, I guess, on guard. I don't know. Is supposed is seeing, watching and seeing who's coming in and who's not coming in. It's a school with 3-year-olds there. Somebody you don't know, you never seen come up. You politely ask them the question. They politely explain, "Oh, I'm new. I work here. I don't have my badge yet. I'm the new head of school." And that person says, "Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, you're right. You're Rodney, right? I heard about you. Yeah, go. Yeah, I I think that's called normal. Like so to go on the internet and go into a whole spiel about how some 16-year-old girl who has the power of a crossing guard. She probably had one of them orange striped vests on around herself.
Literally.
Yeah, she has the power of a crossing guard, and he said he's sitting there with 2 hands on the wheel, with his hands at 10 and 2, making sure he don't flinch. Like, what the hell you think this girl gonna do to you? Like that's the shit that pisses me off. I'm
She
like,
probably had a Desert Eagle on him. That's what happened. He's
like,
sitting there like she got a RoboCop's gun pointed at him.
like, god damn. like and okay, and I know everybody was calling him out. Okay, he's gay, and we see the lime green fingernail paint. It be grown as deep voice, masculine sounding and looking black men who will also make a big fuss about something like that. It gets weird. Like,
That's what I'm getting at, bro. That's what I meant by like describing his character. And you're in charge of children, so you're going to model the children after yourself in a certain kind of way because you think you're normal, even though, like you just said, the 16-year-old girl, she was being normal, which means he isn't. He is therefore abnormal, let's just say. Like, we're not supposed to say that anymore, but he is abnormal. And now he's going to he's going to create a bunch of abnormal children in his position as this man who's afraid to even talk directly to a child. Like, the whole shit is bizarre. And it's like, bro, why are these the people who want to raise or help mold the children? Something creepy is happening here, man.
yeah, it's like, sometimes, like, when I listen to people talk, I just be like, I don't live in that world. I don't live in that world where I'm just scared of white people. Now, I get that if you somebody who who break the law every now and then, I understand you get a little uncomfortable around white police officers, lawyers, and judges. I get that. But we just, but I mean, y'all just cower. Some of them just cower in fear when just some white dude. I always say some white dude in a long sleeve button up short shirt, cargo shorts, and open toed sandals named Steve just walk up in the room and you just start shaking in your boots. Like, what the hell is going on to where he is afraid that something is going to happen to him, hands tight on the steering wheel, because the 16-year-old crossing guard asked him why was he here. Like, when I go to pick up my kids from the school, especially if I've never been there, like, I put it like this. I do de facto security tests. I don't know if you ever saw Breaking Bad, the guy Mike, who was like, he was an old white dude, but he was kind of the muscle somehow. I don't know.
Yeah,
He
it was
probably
one of my favorite guys too.
Yeah. He was a little too old to be the muscle, but he was the muscle. So okay, we going with it. He got hired to work at some security company, and the first thing he did is he tried to infiltrate it. He figured out a way to steal somebody's badge. He made his way all the way in. He made his way to the top. He basically infiltrated on his first day on the job. He basically exposed or figured out every flaw in the system. And then, so, basically when he got hired, when they found out who he was like, okay, this morning, I did this. I was able to walk right in. I walked past this person at the front desk and did this, and she just let me through. And this person let me through here. And I went in there and I took this and I did that. And he's basically explaining, I could have literally blown this whole place to the ground if I wanted to, because y'all security suck. So I'm not that I'm as intricate as him, but when I go to my son's school, and it's I I try not in an over aggressive way, but I just try to just see. Let me just see if I could just walk right in here. Let me let me see how weak their security is. And every time I get a sir, excuse me, I'm like, okay, good, they doing their job. Like I literally walk away thinking, yep, they doing their job. When they give me the sir, you have to go check in with the front office, and they make me go check in with the front office. I go in there, I mention the student that I'm there for. I tell them my name. They look and see my name on the list. I show them some ID, and I get the visitor pass and all of that. The little badge on my chest, and they're like, I'm good. Okay, they security tight. I'm happy. It's like, but what I be seeing with some of these videos that we be posting online, our people be posted online, where some of the stuff that they be posting is like where they're trying to find the racism under every rock. And look, I'm not that dude who's going to sit here and say when something genuinely racist actually happened, then yes, I get it. I'm not saying it don't happen. It do happen. And something need to be done or said about it, and the guilty party need to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law if somebody got hurt as a result of them doing some racist stuff. Yeah, I'm not negating that, but what I'm just saying is something as simple as somebody who was put in some little superficial position to just check and see who's coming in and out of a school. Checks you're new, she doesn't know you, she did what she's supposed to do, she checked to see who was coming in and who was coming out. But he's going to go on here and and join the oppression victim Olympics and try to make some bullshit argument. I'm like, come on, man. I get annoyed when I see men doing that. It's like, no, we legit gotta be better than that. Like, no, you a hardworking, smart, educated man. You work to get in that position. You run that damn school. The hell you shaking in your boots because a 16-year-old on your first day asked why was you there? It's like, I'm here to run the school, bitch, and then go walk into your office. Like, damn.
Yo,
all right.
you know what I just realized? Technically, if he runs the school and she's security, she works for you. You're scared of your own employee.
Exactly.
You are literally terrified of the girl who works under you. A little white girl. This is beautiful if you think about it. This big woke nigga is terrified of the white girl that works for him. That just paints such a picture right there.
God damn. Man, you got anything else on this one?
Yeah, there's one last thing I was thinking about too. Okay. You ever heard of, and it's kind of actually bringing up a completely different story, I suppose, but there's a saying that the supply of racism is actually low, but the demand for racism is actually high. And so you have people essentially fluffing the numbers and creating racism. And what you wind up with is, like, even today when we have stories, like, look what's going on right now. The two racist stories that are in the news now, that's the Amir Locke thing with the no-knock warrant stuff. And the shoot was, obviously he wasn't the guy you were supposed to shoot that night, but there were a lot of other circumstances around that to kind of like make it, maybe this isn't quite racism. Tragedy, fucked up, obviously you killed the wrong guy, kind of, not necessarily, because like he wasn't the guy who was the suspected murderer who was out here shooting people with an AK and stuff. But that guy was in the next room, apparently. And you happen to be asleep on a couch with your legal firearm as they come in to go get that guy. Like, it's a tricky situation, but people want to make that all about racism. Or then we get the other one where, and this one's even a little bit more like, it's literally juvenile. Two teenage boys get into a fight. One white, one black. And the cops show up, and like, this legit happened. And if a person were to tell me that this woman was racist because this is what she did, I wouldn't necessarily argue with you. But all she did was, so the black kid and the white kid are scrapping. Nobody really got beat up bad. It wasn't nothing crazy. But they separate the kids, and it's a white cop, a white male cop, and a white female cop. The white male cop grabs the black kid, cuffs him immediately. the white female cop grabs the white kid and just like, here, sit down right here. Now, people are crying racism. People are screaming racism. It may be. I mean, that's not the battle I want to have with you on this particular case. Yeah. But I'm just saying, if this is the racism, then, we'd have overcome. Like, if this is the racism, we truly have overcome.
Yeah. See, this is a question. The question that I asked in that situation is something that I'll never be able to get my exact answer. Is that if the guy who grabbed who when they separated the two people that was fighting, if the guy who grabbed the white guy would have put the white guy in cuffs, and if the woman would have told the black guy to sit down. Now, for that one right there, I'm more inclined to believe that. I mean, I'll say that race had something to do with the decision making in that. Like I will. And if for whatever reason, for whatever reason, I ain't even trying to get into that. I'll concede the simple point on that she felt comfortable and safe that what you said, he was teenagers.
Yeah, right? They were like high school kids, and they okay. Like, I think they knew each other. You know how boys are. Sometime a fight breaks out, and they'll be cool later.
Okay, yeah, okay. She felt comfortable and safe that when she told the white kid to sit down, he was going to sit down and stay down. They didn't feel comfortable and safe that when if he would have just told the black kid to just sit down and stay down and wait right there, that he would have sat down and stayed right there. So he cuffed him. And I'll concede, yeah, his race had the majority to do with that. I won't even say right. All to do with that. I'll say his race, his race had the majority to do with that. Yeah, all day.
Yeah, I will totally concede that point. That's why I kind of fell back to, all right, fine, that's racism. It's not so bad. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, it's we need to address that and see exactly what was going on there. But my major point is like, no fire hydrant, no fire hoses, no dogs, no beatings. It was like he didn't even get technically assaulted by police. None of that rough stuff. It was just like, all right, you're in cuffs, you're not in cuffs. And that the dichotomy is what it is. The young white kid was assumed to be like the innocent guy. And it's just not the worst race case ever, is all I'm saying. Like, that was very mild racism. If we're gonna have a civil rights movement over that, I think we need to readdress our priorities.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. And then there's a factor, and I talked about this before. There is the factor now when every single person on earth is walking around with a camera attached to their hand. There's cameras everywhere. So whenever something happens, we're all going to see it. It's going to get brought right to our face, no matter what. Good, bad, or ugly, whatever. It's whatever happens, we're going to see it. And then there's the power of the almighty share button. Because if they would have broke up the fight and just would have set them both down, we wouldn't know about it. Okay, they break up the fight, they sit the white kid down, they put cuffs on the black kid. Now it's like the world is going to know about it because somebody's going to see it, and somebody's going to share it. And good old Facebook, well, I think Instagram works the same way now, but Facebook, when somebody on your timeline share it, and then 100 people on their timeline share it, and then 1,000 more people see it and they share it. And then it hit a million views. Now the world seen it, at that point, once you got millions of people sharing it. So it's like it turns into a confirmation bias, the same type of confirmation bias. Let's just say it is. I think we know it's true, even if I try to be nice. We generally know it's true that when it comes to kids getting cussed out at Walmart for trying to grab some Skittles when their mama said don't grab no Skittles, we know that black mamas cuss their kids out at Walmart more, okay? But the mere fact that you have that in your head, the confirmation bias kicks in more to where when you see a black mom yelling at the kids at Walmart, you make a more of a mental note of it than what you do when you see a mom of another race yelling and cussing at her kids out at Walmart. So all I'm saying is that type of confirmation bias, or that's grounded in some truth, by the way, that confirmation bias goes from damn, we seeing it online. I mean, it goes from damn, we see it at Walmart, every now and then, once every other month, we see something like that at Walmart. To now, it's literally every day. If it happens anywhere on Earth, it's going to reach the palm of our hand due to the magical power of the internet. So
it's not just the internet, though.
Well, that share button, the magical share button that I talked about.
No, not just that. Not just the internet, and not in the sense that you mean. Like, obviously, the internet facilitates everything. What I mean is there's an effort to maintain that image. This narrative is crafted and presented for a reason, for a purpose. It's not just like people organically responding to whatever pops up. So, for example, why at the same time these two stories are attempting to become like national causes, no one is talking about the fact that a BLM activist, a little son husband type dude, he just went down and tried to gun down a Jewish governor, a governor candidate. So this is in Louisville, Kentucky now, a guy who was literally not just like loosely affiliated, but he was fully in the mix with the BLM program. They bailed him out after he tried to kill he attempted political assassination, basically. This would be major news if some random white guy tried to kill some black candidate for any office. If you were running for postmaster of your county or something like that, and a white guy tried to kill you, this would be a national story. They'd be like, oh my God, America hasn't moved on from its racist past. But meanwhile, a black guy, for whatever reason, could do an attempted political assassination and it doesn't become a story. Like, this is not by accident.
All right. E Capone in the building with the $5 super chat. He said, got 5 on it. BR, what's up, Hood? I'm older than both of y'all. 10, 11, 79. Shout out to you. Appreciate the super chat. Damn it. What was I about to say? Shit. I read that super chat and it completely left my mind. I was about to say something to what you said. Okay, you was talking about the guy that he and I don't know that much about the story. He said he tried to kill some candidate that was running for something. I forgot. And
yeah, so
he was doing it in the name. He was doing it in the name of like BLM, Black Lives Matter, like that.
We don't have a statement, so I'm not going to say he did it in the name of anything. I'm just saying this is an attempted political assassination because you are politically active and you just tried to kill someone running for office. So I'm kind of basing it on those two realities.
Okay, yeah. If you try to kill somebody while they're running for office and there's no prior beef that you had for somebody, then yeah, you are a domestic terrorist. You are attempting to assassinate somebody running for office. Yeah, that much can't be.
Now, I did say this. The dude could have been a little sweet, and this might have been a love triangle type of thing gone wrong. So until we get some further confirmation, I don't know.
That's what I always. That's what I be asking questions like that too. Were there any prior interactions between the two people involved? I'd be wanting to know little stuff like that. But as far as wanting to keep it going, and that goes back to what we talk about with the left, with Democrats, they sell the narrative and push the narrative of racism and how this country is against you, how this country is holding you back, you're the downtrodden black race. We're the ones who are going to help you. And so basically, when you look at it coming from the left, they have their motivations. I'll say that their motivation to keep it going. I think that's what you was getting at when you said it's not just the share button, it's not just the power, the magical power of the internet. As I say, it's like, no, they literally they want black people shaking in their boots and afraid of the boogeyman, so they can vote for the Democrat savior who gets the vote and then more or less does nothing with more or less does nothing. So that aspect of it, yeah, they're going to push the narrative. The Young Turks, the biggest the big, I mean, they call themselves progressives, and so I'm not even, somebody tried to argue with me that progressives and liberals are different things, but I don't see that much of a working difference between the two, but whatever. But any little thing that happens, like it could just be a random viral video where, I don't know, a fight happened at a school and the black kid happened to lose. They will run the story on it and make it ratings and say something about, and put a racist spin on it and smuggle Trump into it. It's like, I was like, what in the hell is going on? It's like, so I noticed that they do that to try to create the bad guy over there. We're the good guys that got your back. Vote for us, vote for our candidates. So that's a major aspect of it, where black people get hoodwinked, and that's the environment that makes Hillary Clinton comfortable pulling hot sauce out of her bag when she on the when she on the campaign trail. It's like that. So that aspect of it, yes, there are outside, I hate the term outside forces, because then it's like we talking about a boogeyman ourselves. But there are outside forces that are working to keep it going. But I think a lot of it is just, within black people, and I hate to say it, but it's like we gotta get to the point to where any shortcoming we got going, it's about rolling up our sleeves and correcting that shit on our own. Talking about jobs, okay. Where are the businesses? Where are the black businesses? Where are the black owned businesses that's hiring black people? I'm all about us fixing our own shit. That's where I'm at with it. But anyway, shout out to E Capone. Do appreciate the super chat.
I know we got other stuff to get to, but you just reminded me of something, and this whole crack pipe thing and Hillary pulling out hot sauce. How long before some candidate for office is just like smoking a blunt with black people, like as a part of their campaign? Like, just join the cipher, just get in. They're gonna be busting down Dutch masters and shit. Like, how long before you got to smoke some weed with niggas to get your votes up? Like, we are that far away. Remember, you heard it here first. I'm making a prediction, because look, weed is damn near legal. We already got a black guy running for office somewhere. He's making weed smoking like as a part of his first campaign video. And I don't even think weed is legal in his state, by the way. But we are embracing like the weed culture and legalizing weed. So how long until some white person, some white Democrat is like, look, I'm gonna smoke some weed with these niggas and get their vote?
I could just see him on the campaign trail where he went to some little, they sometimes will go to local intimate places so they can feel like, they're man of the people, so to speak. So, he's in there and he's talking, he's giving a little speech. It's like a group of people, gathered around him, some people to the left of him, to the right of him, and he's sitting there talking, and he's like, yes. And that's why it is absolutely imperative that, that we get affordable housing, and just
right, like sitting next to like Jay-Z and Meek Mill or some shit, right?
And they didn't pass him the blunt, and he's talking about affordable. So, like I was saying about affordable housing, you just pass the blunt over there.
Dude, I'm telling you, listen, you heard it here first on the Bernard Riley Show. We are making a prediction. This is where we're gonna be in like 2 election cycles. Like, so what, 6 to 8 years from now, we're gonna have the first look. See, he get my vote right off the back. They know you niggas like this shit.
They see him passing the blunt to Jay-Z and not breaking a speech when he giving the speech about affordable housing. Oh no, he getting the vote. He getting the vote. He didn't stutter. He just paused a little bit. Just passed it. Didn't miss a beat. Oh yeah. He getting that vote.
Damn, you know what? Let's go full rap video. Let's go full hip hop blockbuster rap video. They're gonna have girls twerking in the back. It won't even be like a strip club or nothing. It'll just be like randomly twerking and the shit, like, ow. Like this, they're just gonna go full rap video with it. I'm telling you. In the future, commercials targeted at black people will be just like 90s hip hop videos.
Yeah. Well, I mean, well, we already there with the get your booty to the pole. We already there.
Right. We're just they're gonna perfect it. See, they stumbled onto it as like a one-off thing, and I'm saying no, this is gonna be the thing going forward now.
Yeah. And then there's good old critical race theory. Your favorite. Let's
Now I sent you that email, not so much to debate CRT.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. I thought I had it up. Wait a second. Okay, now it's coming. All right. There we go.
Yeah, I'm not even trying to like debate CRT, the merits, the pros and cons. Does it exist? Are they teaching it to elementary kids, schools? Like that is a fight for another day. We could do that some other time. I don't even want to spend forever talking about this. I want you to direct your eyes to the top right corner of the screen and tell me who you see supporting this stuff.
World Economic Forum.
Yeah, the Bond villains. So like, if this is so good, when I mean like the James Bond villain, you know how James Bond is always fighting like some shadowy guy who wants to secretly take over the world and like poison the grain supply or the water supply or some weird shit like that.
Okay.
So
how do you pull all that out of World Economic Forum? I don't know.
The Great Reset.
About this.
Are you familiar with the concept of the Great Reset?
Yeah, I've heard people talk about it, but I haven't, just
these are the people. Yeah. These are the Great Reset people. These are the people who literally tell you you will own nothing and you will be happy.
Oh, okay. Those people. Okay, got it.
And they're going to CRT your way to owning nothing and being happy.
Right. Got it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Those are people that are in the realm of. I get it's messed up because it's World Economic Forum, so I can't even. I was trying to pin charges on the people in America who essentially, if you really follow their arguments to their logical conclusions, they essentially want communism. But this World Economic Forum, this is going to sound like a weird question. Like who's actually running it? Like it's called World Economic Forum, but where is it based? I guess is my question.
I'm not sure the where exactly. I would say like Brussels or Belgium, something like that. But it's almost irrelevant. But it's the who is more important. The who is running it is really the trick question. I mean the good question, because Klaus Schwab is like the leader, the president or whatever of the World Economic Forum, and he is literally a direct descendant of like the Nazi Party. Like his father or grandfather was like the banker, like the head money man for the Nazi Party of World War II Germany. So like these people have ties to something going back deep. And I mean, without even getting like into, too much conspiratorial talk, I'm just kind of asking the question, if CRT is such a good thing and it's a positive thing for everyone that it touches, why is it also being pushed by the people who want you to own nothing and say you'll be happy when you own nothing?
Good question. Damn good question. Yeah, I got nothing much on nothing much further on that. Did you want to roll the video, or you just wanted to make just a general point about the World Economic Forum, the Great Reset, how the Great Reset is also pushing critical race theory, basically?
Well, I mean, yeah, the point is kind of there. I don't really need to play the video all that much. There's nothing to see. It's really just music and images, and they're just gonna talk nice things about CRT. It's not so much the video. I just wanted to draw the connection. And then now here's a deeper question I would like to ask. This is something for Black Americans especially to ponder. Are we fully in the matrix now? And I'm using this as a metaphor, obviously, but think about like if if CRT is something a lot of Black people are pushing, just individually in America, a lot of Black people seem to just reflexively support this, right? If we're supporting this on our end, and the people who claim to want to, dominate the world, the shadowy, wealthy white people who want to dominate everybody in the world are supporting it on their end, what does that say about what Black people are really doing with our activities?
Yeah, I was thinking more along those lines. Like I was drawing the connection between, okay, the people that don't want you to own anything are the people that are pushing critical race theory. That's basically saying any shortcoming that you have as a Black American is rooted in racism, even if in your day to day you don't, see it, feel it, experience it that much. The institutions are, racist at their core. So the best way to fix that problem for you is to tear down all of the systems, and then after they tear down every system, then it's going to be, they're essentially saying it's going to be replaced with communism. You don't own anything, the government owns everything. And so it's really a perfect marriage. Like when they say politics make strange bedfellows, these aren't strange bedfellows. This is a very it's very logical that these two would be those two concepts, ideas would, or organization and an idea would be in cahoots with each other. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and I've been having arguments with people about this stuff, and that's why I didn't even want to get into the individual arguments of what it is and where it is or is not being taught. Like all that is a different argument. I just kind of wanted to draw this more general conclusion and connect these dots. Like, look, obviously, I think we're, how that little meme goes. It's like, are we the baddies now? I feel like we have to stop and ask ourselves that question as a person, as an individual, you should stop and do a self check every so often and ask, are you still on the right side of things?
Yeah. No, I agree 100% with that. But what is it about this meme? You said it's a meme called "Are We the Baddies Now"?
It's a meme from like what was that show? Some old British comedy show, but basically it's like two guys and they're in Nazi uniforms, and it's from an old show. It's not like a meme, an image, but it's actually a clip from an old show. I forget the name of that old British TV show everybody says was hilarious back in the day. But anyway, so it's two guys in Nazi uniforms and they're just like looking at each other, and it's like, notice, oh, you got the little skull there too. He's like, wait, you got a skull there too. And then they started making connections like, well, hell, damn, are we the bad guys? Because we're running around with little skulls, death heads on our shoulders, and it's just like it became a little joke. And it's like, are we the bad guys? And that's kind of it's an ironic thing, but sometimes you do have to do a quick self-check and, make sure you don't go too far down any rabbit hole and you wind up in bad territory.
Yeah. All right.
Monty's Pythons. That's what it is. Monty Python.
Oh yeah. I rock with that. I used to listen. Well, I didn't. I've watched quite a bit of that.
Well, you're familiar with the humor. So yeah, that's where it comes from.
Yeah. No, I definitely, they do damn good religious satire. I've seen that's what I was watching it for. But all right. Our dear friend Jim Jones, who set social media ablaze when he talked about how his mom taught him how to tongue kiss when he was how old? 8, 10, something like that.
Oh my God, that was my favorite thing ever. Yo, that's my mother. I just kept repeating that shit. Yo, that's my mother. Just the way he said it, like he was really in the sunken place, man. Like, wow, I want to feel bad for you, but I can't because this is just so funny.
Yeah, man. But anyway, if doing this was his elaborate way to just get a different news cycle going about him to so that ain't the last thing in people's head. This definitely worked, pulling up in the Gucci store and showing out. But But anyway, we got to roll this unedited. I mean, you can tell me to pause at any moment you want to interject or jump in. But so I'm about to just let this roll. It's a minute and something long. I don't think we got to say fair use when we pull something off Twitter. But anyway, all right, we're letting it roll.
We've been in Gucci for about an hour, right? And we in Gucci in the VIP. We've been in Gucci for like 2 hours, right? Since we came in here, having nobody came and showed us no courtesy, no amenities, no nothing. Period. Not even a drink of water. Asked to speak to the manager. Send me a black guy out here that start telling me some bullshit. So they got the black guy racial profiling on black people. Asked to speak to a manager bigger than him. Everybody disappeared. Ain't nobody come out yet. I still ain't getting no sparkling water. I still ain't getting no champagne. I still ain't getting nothing.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, did he just accuse the black security guard of racism?
I'm tripping about the sparkling water. I didn't know that was a thing. I don't go to Gucci stores. Are they? Is that customary that they give you sparkling water when you get there? That was?
Yeah, I've never had the pleasure. I don't know. I would assume the high life is a different life.
Yeah, you don't get that sparkling water. They sending you a message, I guess. But all right. So what was you saying? So I guess that's where you want to start with. He accused the black
right
employees
off the bat
of racism.
Yeah, you're gonna accuse the black guy of racism. Like, all right, first of all, I'm not gonna pretend to know what really went on in the store, but like, why is the black guy being racist? Like, why is that the first thing you come out of your mouth? And this is what I mean about like modern racism calls, like cries of racism. It's so the black guy in Gucci wasn't nice enough to you, so it's racism now. Like Gucci wasn't fast enough with your sparkling water, and it's racism now.
Yeah. He could have just the guy just couldn't have been just an incompetent employee, like that could have been the case, but I mean no, but I guess he's being racist. He's being racist against other black people. I actually saw that happen in real time. The restaurant right down the street from my house that I need to stop eating at because they don't sell nothing healthy in there. Even their salads are unhealthy. But anyway, the restaurant down the street from my house that I go and get takeout from, I was in there, and it's a black girl that work in there, really nice, really sweet. So and another black girl came in there, and it's funny I guess the this shouldn't matter. But okay, I ain't about to get into the shades of blackness of them, but anyway, that part shouldn't matter. But I do believe the one that was being accused of being racist was darker than the lighter one that was making the charge of racism on her. But that part shouldn't matter. But it just jumped out because I was looking at the one that was calling the other one racist. I was like, you look black-ish, calling a black woman racist. So that's why it was weird. That's why it was weird. But no, the part that made it really weird is that after she basically, because when you pay with your debit card there, because you pay at the front counter, you pay at the counter when you get your food there. So you go up, you pay at the counter, and then they turn it around. And then they push a little button that gives you the option to push a button to tip. You can either, do 15%, 18%, 20%, 25%. There's like 4 options right there. I mean, y'all know that. Y'all have seen those. Or you can just push the button to do a custom tip. But the mere fact that this black person at this restaurant turned the thing around and pushed the, prompt to tip button, she gonna say, oh, you did that because you think I wasn't gonna tip you anyway? So you're trying to make sure I have to tip you? That's what you're doing because you don't think I'm. It's like she hit her over the head with some basically called another black person racist. And then when the chick left, the black girl that worked there was real nice, really sweet, really sweet. I mean, I go on. They know me at their very unhealthy restaurant. They know me by name in there, but they call me by the name. They real nice people there, and And she was sitting there thinking, like, how is she calling me? Like, she was talking to the other white people that worked there, but she was looking at me like, how is she calling me racist? Like, make this make sense somehow. Like, she was literally trying, like, she was genuinely confused. Like, how am I being called racist? If anything, I understand how, you know, the whole, you know, the stereotype, which is actually proven to be true. They did a study on it, that black people tip less even when they're tipping other black people. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, they did a study on that, and it's proven. But
you know what's so funny though?
What?
The whole thing about him calling a security guard racist, and then your story where she's calling another black girl racist.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about, you know, blacks versus American blacks versus immigrant blacks. And then I'm telling you, some of the funniest and like the almost like most intense racism you're going to ever hear is going to be between two different groups of black people. And it just kind of ponders, it makes me wonder, if black people are this racist against other black people, what is racism really?
And I think I said this on the show before, when I dated a girl that was from Kenya, she said she received more racism from black Americans than white Americans. Now that was what she said. So black people and Africans, yeah, they do got I mean, I didn't know it was a thing. I like gradually started finding out that was a thing. You know, I wasn't a part of any African diaspora pan-Africanism movement or none of that stuff. I just looked at us as, you know, hey, you from over there, we from over here, we all black, we cool. That's how I always looked at it. It was, I found out much later in life that it was a thing. It was a thing that people had. It was a lot of black people that got problems with other black people from elsewhere and be racist.
It's like finding out Santa Claus ain't real, bro.
Yeah, I was just like, whoa. Whoa. But I did see something online where somebody who was from I forgot what country in Africa, they were saying that, you know, us Africans be fronting as if our parents didn't tell us to dislike black Americans. You know, when you go like they basically was saying that, because, you know, if you come from a good family over there, they kind of know that they probably going to send their kids over to America. You know, they're already prepping them when they 12 and 13, knowing that they're going to be sending them over there, I don't know, for college. So, you know, in 5 years, their kids are going to be over there. So they basically was like, yeah, our parents be prepping us, saying, stay away from them black Americans. And they will basically pull out everything that white people have said about us. African parents will pull that out and they will tell their kids, they will pull all that out and give it to their kids and have their kids armed with all the tools they need to have their disdain for black Americans. And then black Americans just call it, just looking at y'all some dirty Africans or whatever they go, you know, whatever African booty scratchers, I don't know, whatever we call them. But yeah, so it's a thing. But this is black American on black American racism, apparently. But anyway, that we looking at here with
Jim Jones.
And
where's his mother right now? His mother. I should have brought his mother to Gucci with him.
Yeah, she would have got him told. But anyway,
to have a salesperson inside of my VIP suite the whole time I was there. I had to keep screaming for VIP people to help me out. Now everybody don't know where the real manager is. You heard? I'm tired of this. We spending all this money as entertainers inside these stores. They hire these black people, and these black people are more racist than white people when they get their job. Inside of Gucci.
Yes, I love that part right there. Yo, niggas be so mad at each other. Yeah. This is the funniest shit. And look at his face. Like, this is the face of getting oppressed by Gucci right here. That's the face you make when you getting oppressed by Gucci.
Oh man.
Stop playing with us, bro. Still haven't seen a manager yet. Still haven't seen a manager yet. Since I'm talking to you right now, a manager still hasn't popped out of Gucci. And the bill is like $29,000, but we didn't pay that yet. You heard? Why would we? They still haven't sent a manager or bottle of sparkling water or anything that says that we appreciate your service for being in here in Gucci and spending that bag.
The big one.
The big one. They sent this guy. What is he possibly going to do? You heard? What is he going to do?
What?
What was he supposed to do? We going to karate fight all of y'all?
I don't even understand. They sent this guy. What is he supposed to do? It's almost like that was a subtle racist thing to say. It's almost like he was just saying they sent this unimportant black person to deal with the issue. He can't do nothing. He black just like me. It's almost like that's
right.
Almost what I heard there. Oh man,
this is what I mean about like the racism that we get in the modern day. It's like if this is racism, bro, we'll be all right, man. We have overcome. Life is gonna go on.
I'm sitting there thinking, if that's the guy they went and got, that is the senior highest ranking person there. Why do he believe that there's some? He been there an hour, he said. If the manager you're looking for is either there or not there, they sent the highest ranking person and it was a black guy and you weren't satisfied. You need if somebody would have came out with the same title on their name tag and been white in the same suit, he would have been sufficient to let that person fix his problem. That's what I'm gathering.
Infantry Skills said something in the chat, and I think it has to like be said. You know, he said something totally different for a change. You can't spend 30 years creating a negative image for black men as rappers and then complain about being racially profiled and getting an unfair jury. And I think that's a huge problem. Like you are now falling victim to the image you create in a lot of ways. Like, if you look at the image of rappers in that whole world, and obviously we kind of have to take it to maybe the extreme, but the extreme is more norm, and that's the problem. So it's like when you look at what the rappers are putting out on the whole as an image, it does become a question of like, yeah, you might have the big bag, but maybe I don't want your money.
I think that's a real thing. I didn't think of it that way, but I can see how that could be a real thing, how some companies could be on some, hey, we sell a luxury product, and yes, this is America, and everybody's free, and whoever can afford it can come in and buy it, but they didn't average into the equation that it would be some rich niggas that walk, talk, dress, and act like niggas that would have that money and be able to walk in there, and they like, no, we don't want this image in our store, in our place of business, wearing our products, because yes, it's good you pulling up rich, but you're going to turn off our the clientele we was actually looking for, that we're going to rely on throughout the year, other than the once or twice a year that 50 Cent walk up in there with his entourage. So that's probably that's I could see that happening. And I could see them losing a case, some luxury store like that losing a case because they selling some luxury product, and then a rapper walk in there with his entourage, and they like, you bad for business over here, So I could see some luxury store losing, getting caught up in a bad lawsuit for that one. I could see that happening.
Yo. Right now he's standing there with his quote big bag, and there's like a little tiny Jewish lady with a bag infinitely bigger than his, and they want her money way more than yours, bro. That's just how that goes.
Yeah, I can see that. That's sort of the point that I was making, is that you come in there on some nigga shit, you turning away they Jewish customers. They don't want you. That's probably what's going on there. That's probably what's going on there. And yeah, y'all see that email right there. Y'all can hit that email. Hit me for show ideas. Yeah, definitely do that. Just keep it simple. Send me the link. If it's long, timestamp it. If it's a long video, timestamp it, please. Don't try to have me sit through 2 hours to catch the money shot at the 1 hour and 13-minute mark. But no, if you got an idea, something you want me to do a show on, or pre-recorded video or live stream on, yep, just send it to me and just briefly describe to me what you're sending and put a timestamp in it if need be. But all right, let's get back to it. Oh, it's almost over, actually.
It's what I want to know. Still haven't seen a manager. Is there a manager that works here, or everybody's just a worker?
All right.
I think he wanted to talk to the owner of Gucci. That's who he really wanted to talk to.
Yeah. He ain't happy. He ain't happy till he got the actual literal owner. But yeah. Oh man. All right, let's see real quick. Moving on through the topics. All right, we circled our way back to what we started out talking about. We've been bouncing back and forth on it, but that the whole FBA foundational Black Americans versus immigrants thing. Now you brought some stuff. Oh, okay. Oh, this guy. Hold on. This guy. We know Tone Talks. Yeah, I know him, right? Just to read what's going on here. Traffic attorney, hashtag ADOS. That's American descendants of slaves, for those that don't know. Yes, I still have to say that because I talk to people all the time that don't know the lingo. A lot of people in my a lot of people don't know the lingo. We be down a rabbit hole. We be saying stuff people don't know what the hell we be talking about. But traffic attorney, ADOS leader Antonio Moore, hashtag Tone Talk, says that Black immigrants, African Caribbeans, are a problem as they are here to erase ADOS and FBA people. That's foundational Black Americans. Note that Black immigrants are only 3% of all immigrants to the USA or in the USA. He does not speak for real African Americans. All right, interesting. And
we've told you guys for a year that there's a big problem with Black immigration and how it's being narrated around a flatness. Whereas almost to erase us. You had Bree Newsom most recently tell us that we're the product of rape, of white rape. That's who Black Americans are.
That's grape, buddy. You're messing up the algorithm. Anyway. All right, what you got on this one?
Well, I just want to use this to sort of flesh out the argument, basically, that between the Black and the Black Americans and Black immigrants, because he's going to make some points and actually like lay out some positions and plant his flag, so to speak, as to what his gripe is. So I think it's just a good video to just sort of highlight what the problems are from the two camps.
Yeah, well, the video you sent me is only 18 seconds long. You know that, right? You said he's going to lay out some arguments. Hello?
Yeah, no, let it play. It's only 18 seconds. Yeah, let it play. He's going to make a couple of cases because
I did play.
That was the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I thought that was, oh, damn.
Yeah, you must send me the wrong thing. All right, yeah, take your time and you could hell, you just screen share the other one and then you just work the controls on it and just
give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Right. I did have something else pulled up. I don't know what I did with it.
Yeah, because of you, I don't tweet, but because of you, I ended up looking at that what is it called? Libs on Twitter or something. I forgot what it was called.
Oh, Libs on TikTok. Yeah, that's a great channel.
On TikTok. Yeah, that junk was funny. Yeah, you sent me down some rabbit holes, man. I was like, God damn, they is on here wilding.
Bro, listen, people are losing their minds out here. And that's why I was saying earlier, like, there's a lot of people, especially in the teaching field, that are really on some far out, bugged out stuff, racially, sexually, just in all kinds of ways. And nobody's really paying attention to it because you don't have a lot of places like libs on TikTok who just, that's all they do is look for that kind of thing and then display it to everybody so you can kind of get an idea of how deep that rabbit hole is. Because without channels like that, I wouldn't have half the content I have.
Yeah, they doing you a good, so you owe them some money. they hooking you up with all that content. I was looking at that.
Listen,
like,
bro,
damn, that's a vault.
I'm living off the land over here, man. We living off the land.
They got a vault full of stuff, but all right,
yeah, this one isn't
you got it up.
This isn't Tone Talks. I forget this guy's name. I think it's like Uhuru something, Black to Uhuru. He's got a big channel. He does a lot of African content.
Yeah.
Show that you're successful, you know, you could get you a Porsche or whatever. I mean, you can have nice things, but you will never have full ownership in the West, period. I don't care what they tell you.
Now he's talking to like the African immigrants right now when he says something like that, you'll never have full ownership in the West. But the funny thing is, Black people of the West say they will never have full ownership. That is a whole major plank in the pro-Black platform. Like, you know, this is the white man's country. You trying to build a patriarchy in the white man's patriarchy.
Okay. I don't understand. Okay, well, first off, shout out to KP from KC5. Shout out to you. I thought the super chat button was broke. Yeah, thank you for coming through, dropping a super chat on it. He says Sharpton met with the NFI and the Flores lawsuit is going. I mean NFL. I'm sorry,
the
NFL and the Flores lawsuit is going nowhere fast. Al gonna get that bag. The same Al that endorsed Biden can't make this up. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. I've still been dragging my feet on really touching on the whole Flores situation. I had my thoughts about the I gotta dig into that situation to see what's really up, because I've always had my views on NFL having a mandatory, you know, do three routine interviews, even like if you know you want to hire Bill Parcells, but you got to do a boat and pony show, 3 interviews for a black candidate, even though you know you're not going to hire them because you already know who you want to hire. I thought that was weird, but I don't pay that much attention to the NFL and their coaching and the politics with that. I mean, I kind of do, but I don't. I do know my favorite sport, like I said, the NBA. Like it's like half the coaches are not white. It's like 13 Black, I think a Mexican and an Asian or something like that. So I don't know what's going on with the NFL as far as that. I don't really keep up. I mean, I just haven't kept up with that. People keep asking me about it. I'm gonna dig into it eventually. I'm going to dig.
I talked about that whole NFL thing a little bit, and I think it's funny in this sense. And I stumbled onto a little joke because I was like, "Yo, he's a diversity thought." They literally passed him around for diversity's sake. That's the real crime in this whole thing. Because like, all right, so if you got to interview a Black guy, even though you know you're not going to hire this particular guy, you just have to interview him for the sake of passing, you know, your diversity quota. Well, they made you the diversity thought, bro. They just gave you interviews for the sake of giving interviews. Like, it's kind of fucked up.
I think so.
But those are the rules. Like, are you going to be mad at them for following the rules? Yeah, well, they did try to pay you.
Real briefly, what happened with him? I don't even fully got it. I haven't researched.
He is literally saying that they interviewed him essentially knowing that he was not the candidate they wanted. And I'm like, okay, maybe that's true. Right. So you're the diversity thought. Now you get passed around.
That's what I thought it was, but I was like, no, I got to be more to it than that. I was saying to myself, it got to be more to it than that. They can't make a rule saying you have to interview at least 3 black potential candidates, and then they go through the motions of doing that, even though they know who they want to hire. They go through the motions of doing that. They don't hire one of the people that they had no intentions on hiring. Like, they literally did what they're supposed to do. You got your shot, you got your interview. Now, somebody corrected me on this, and I was glad that they did. Mike Tomlin, I think I got his name right. Yeah, the coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was one of those 3 people that they had to hire, and I guess he went in the interview and he impressed them. They hired him, and he won 2 Super Bowls. So, hey, good on him, and good on the rule that I thought didn't make any sense, but it got a black man through the door, and he's very successful. Okay, cool. But at the end of the day, if they know they want to hire Bill Parcells, but they got to go through the motions of these 3 interviews, they go through the motions of those 3 interviews. You can't then call it racist if they put those 3 interviews in place to try to correct the racism. Like, that's a weird thing that I don't get. I don't get. I forgot. I got off topic with the super chat, but thank you for the super chat. Sometimes super chats do that. If your super chat something interesting, we may stop the show and talk about it. But what I forgot what point was being made here with Black Uru.
You know, I kind of forgot where we were too. Let me just start the clip up.
Yeah. Just re-roll it.
Instead of fighting for the American dream, why aren't you fighting for the Africa dream? I am not anti-immigrant, but I am anti-immigrant who chooses to come to America, develops their skills, and refuses to go back to their countries of origin and build up their country. That's right.
Are black people becoming, and this is the funniest shit, black people suddenly become pro-American when other black people show up. It's like, hold up, nigga. Wait a minute, nigga.
This is America.
Like, this shit is the most hilarious thing on the level, because I wasn't expecting this growing up the way I grew up. Like, you know, I thought we was all black together, bro.
I'm looking at him like, where your Make America Great Again hat at, nigga? Like, go in and rock it. You need to go in and rock the Make America Great Again hat. Like, this is America. Like, get your black ass out of here. That's what he basically telling the immigrants, the black immigrants. Get your black ass out of here. That's funny.
That's what's crazy. The whole pro-black movement is slowly turning against, like, black, not all of it, but there's a segment of the pro-black movement that is very much turning against black immigrants, and the shit is hilarious to see, because it's like, bro, I thought the white man was the enemy. And they flat out calling each other white supremacists and shit. Like, I don't know what to make of none of this stuff. It's all hilarious right now.
Yeah, it'd be funny when they call them. Funny when they will call them white supremacists. I wonder, the thing that jumped out to me. I don't know if you said it or if it was said on the tape, where the argument is you'll never own anything in America. Like, did you say something?
Yeah,
like
he
that?
just said that. Yeah, he said that starting out. Let me run it right back.
Show that you're successful. You know, you could get you a Porsche or whatever. I mean, you can have nice things, but you will never have full ownership in the West, period.
All right, I'll probably push pause. Now, is he saying now that black people who are born here can have full ownership in the West? Like, I want to know if that's his position, because he's saying that
I think he's talking to immigrants specifically. Okay,
so he's saying that he can, like, him as a black American born here and descendants of slaves here. Is he now saying that we can? Because before they were saying we can't. But so it's almost like a changing of the. It's almost like a changing of the argument. Like, I always say that we can. Like, I own my house. It's not some big, $1 million mansion. It's a little bitty house on the prairie, but it's mine. I own it. It's paid off. Got to pay them taxes though. That's coming up. Damn. But anyway, them taxes sneak up on you if you don't pay them regularly. Even when your house paid off and you think you you think you're balling. Them taxes sneak up on you every year if you don't pay it gradually. But that's a whole nother story, whole nother show. But anyway, yeah. So the whole, if you could buy land in a country, then yes, you own your part of that country. There's laws, rules, regulations that like they can't just come and take it from you. Like, so I don't understand what he means by he's telling them that they can't own something here. I mean, unless they like if they never get their citizenship. No, I don't even know. No, because you can live overseas and own property in America. So you can, like, come on, like I don't. That's not a good argument. That's like a boogeyman argument. That's a boogeyman argument, basically, to me, to say that somebody can't own something that they pay for in a country. If you pay for it, you buy it. That's your land. That's your shit. You own it. What are you talking about?
And you know, it's so weird. I don't know much about this guy. I always thought he was African. So like this part just is funny to me. Like I'm kind of blown away by this right now. But also, it's almost like he's kind of saying you'll never really be black.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll never really be one of us. That's kind of what I'm getting at with this whole argument here. That's why it's just fascinating to see this shit play out between different groups of people.
I don't care what they tell you.
Push pause real quick. I'm halfway reading the comments. The Mayo monkey with a grenade. Is he like trolling? Or is the name just kind of triggering? Hold on. He doesn't have a member for, does he have duty station? Okay, no, he being cool. I thought I saw somebody say he was like trolling. All right. Keep it on.
And I think we're having personal disputes.
Okay, all right. I thought something was going on. All right, everything cool. Everything
Instead
cool.
of fighting for the American dream, why aren't you fighting for the Africa dream? I am not anti-immigrant, but I am anti-immigrant who chooses to come to America.
Real quick, you see that thing that just flashed where it said ADOS versus everybody?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that idea? ADOS versus everybody. You really think it's that way?
No, I wouldn't say. I disagree. I mean, listen, I always said that, and I said this earlier in the show, that I didn't see that much of a difference. The only time I saw somebody as different is if they were like was fresh off the boat. Okay. They just got off the boat or the plane or whatever. Let me quit cracking jokes. They just got off the plane. They're new here, you know, thick accent. I do look at them as, you know, something different, but only in the same context that some white person come over here with an accent. I do look at them as different, but I don't look at them as versus me. You know, there's a such thing as like for example, JB who JB who came over here. I think when he was, I don't know, he was a kid. He was a little kid when he came when he came over here. Or people like yourself. You said your dad hopped the fence or came over on a boat or whatever. you said he snuck over here somehow. I don't know if he crawled under something. You said your dad snuck over here sometime in the 70s. You were born in 81.
Right.
You know, yeah. So I don't see a difference with you. So that's where it get goofy for me. But the people that come over here recently in the last, 3, 4, 5 years, I do see them as a different group of people, but not versus. It's not us versus them. That I don't see. I do think that is, well, not likely, but still possible that black people from elsewhere would, I don't know, just over time, I think we will all just be lumped into one group. So, but it's like the black people who are fighting to make the distinction, and it's almost like other groups are not fighting as hard to, let's divvy up the Negroes and say these Negroes over here and the Negroes that came from over there. Let's categorically put them here and treat them this way and treat them that way and all of that. It seems more like it's us doing it, because I don't know if I don't know if anybody else in this country makes distinctions like that. But ADOS, American descendant of slaves versus everybody. No, I don't see that. I don't walk around with that energy towards this topic. No.
I think it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of deal where, like, if you declare everyone your enemies, eventually they all must become your enemy at some point. Like, you've made it so. And that's kind of my problem with the whole thing. You're starting out on a really bad foot. And I don't know how much good can come of just, declaring everyone else your enemy. That's not how that's not how positive things get done.
Yeah.
Develops their skills and refuses to go back to their countries of origin and build up their country. That's where I stand.
Let's talk about that part right there.
But I'm just so shocked.
Hold on, push pause. Now, that's an interesting thing that me and Ike talked about before. And I do look at a lot of the countries in Africa, and I know there's a lot of people that debate this, but a lot of they have a brain drain problem where a lot of their best and brightest do end up leaving. And I talked to Ike, and I talked to quite a few people about that, but I got it figured out that those that come over here, a lot of them is either one or two ways that they end up getting over here. They either come from a good family that had the money, the resources to send them over and everything like that, or if they didn't come from that, they had to gather up the money on their own. And in order to gather up enough money on your own, it would have to be, you basically have to come up with I forgot how many. I'm just looking at it from a Kenyan standpoint. It costs a few $1,000s to make it over here, a few thousand US dollars. Let's just say $2,000 US to truly make it over here comfortably, to where you can catch the flight and have somewhere to stay for a week or a month when you land. I don't know, but so let's just look at it from that standpoint. That Kenyan who didn't come from a wealthy family, he would have to save up 200,000 Kenyan shillings to convert it over to 2,000 American dollars. So he basically he had to essentially save up the equivalent of $200,000. Do you know how hard it is to save up $200,000 in a third world country? Very fucking hard. So I'm saying all that to say that if you can be born in the sticks of a third world country and then somehow manage to bust your ass and be that disciplined to save up 200,000 shillings, you are an exceptional Kenyan. You are cut above the average out there. Mm-hmm. So the point that I'm making is that the people that are there that are, exceptional, far above average, or come from far above average families, they all come over here or they go somewhere out in Europe. That's why I said it's a brain drain, where those that stay there, and we see the same thing in the hood, where people who are worth a damn, either they're smart, they went to school, they just worked hard, they got the hell out of there, and they end up sprinkled around in white neighborhoods. And then so it's a similar brain drain that we see in the hood, where those that didn't roll up their sleeves, work hard, or figure nothing out, or whatever, are still there, and it'd be a bunch of nigga shit going on. And in Africa, those that are smart roll up their sleeves, figure out how to get to another country, get out of the continent altogether, and then those that are there are the ones that we see. I was about to get. I ain't trying to talk bad on Africans like that. But again, you get my point. So to get back to his point, those that are smart, capable, build skills, and do all of that, it's like, y'all are so great and can kick ass and do all of this here in America. Y'all got a whole country. Why? It is a fair question, and I'm not saying this in the context of this is America. You need to get the fuck. I'm not going redneck on them. I'm not going whatever it is that the dude on the screen that Black Uru is going. But I am saying that you do have talent and skills, and you do have a country that you still claim, that you put your fist in the air for, that you are not you did abandon the post over there. No, not just an individual, because I don't trip about an individual, but I think it seems like all of their smart people are just abandoned, just say, man, fuck this shit, I'm out. Basically, like black people do from the hood.
But right. What listen, why would I begrudge you for doing what we both acknowledge is the smart play?
Yeah. I guarantee the black person who was telling him to go back, who was saying you need to go back to your country and help build that up, I guarantee that's a black person who got his money up, got his money right, and left the hood and ain't back over there. You know, so
right? Like, come on, stop the cat, my nigga. Like, we both over here trying to run from these niggas.
Yeah.
Like, that's the real shit about it.
Yeah, we got in the car and we drove, 20 to 30 miles. Y'all got on a goddamn plane to get away from y'all niggas.
Facts. Like, you did not want to live around the niggas you came from. Neither did he. Y'all should be homies, bro. Chill.
Yeah. That's true. That is true. But,
like,
yeah.
Why are people offended?
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
By that. Like, I don't understand. Why are you offended by me saying, hey, come to America, develop the skills, and go back and develop your country so your children won't be put in a position where they will have to leave? Who wants to leave the Gambia on and I've rowed one of those boats before when I went to Gambia.
Now, imagine an old white man. Imagine Jared Taylor saying these words.
Ooh.
Why the ooh? Why white man can't say those words?
No, because it's the parallel that's being drawn there. Jared Taylor is public enemy number one, not accepted in polite white society for saying these things. But you could be a black public figure and say that. That's one of the differences. I wasn't making the connection, like when you make, because you're taking it an angle that I actually never thought about it like that. That black people are, I didn't want to say it was rooted in racism, because it's hard to call it racism when two people are, phenotypically the same in many ways, or or same skin color. It's hard. I didn't want to call it racism, so I didn't look at it like that. So, but it's tribalism. There we go. That's the word. That was the word of the day on the last show. It's tribalism. That's what it is. But Jared Taylor said, and he's saying it probably more out of tribalism than racism. But damn, Jared Taylor, he views all white people as a part of his tribe, though. He's okay with. Hold on, wait. Let's go down that rabbit hole. Jared Taylor, who's like who's considered a card carrying white racist. He doesn't use the term white supremacist, but he accepts all white immigrants. Basically, somebody like literally put the question right to him. Is like, oh, so you got a problem with immigration? He said, yes, but what about white immigrants? Oh no, they're fine. So you only have a problem with immigrants of a different color. And basically he said he doubled down and said yes. Now he put it in the most polite way ever, because that's what he always do. He put it in the most polite way ever, where he was just basically
Hoover was
saying,
being polite too, And he's saying the same thing as Jared Taylor says, though. That's what's crazy about it. Like, and this is why I made the parallel earlier. Like, are Black Americans becoming the white people of Black people? His argument is substantively no different.
Yeah. You got a point there.
And it was terrifying. The the little small, not the canoe or whatever it's called. When I got to Banjul from Dakar, I had an option of taking the ferry or I had to take the little canoe. I took the canoe. There's about 100 of us on that little canoe. And I was scared to death. And they told me, like, look, this ain't nothing. This same canoe, Gambians, Senegalese, they will take this same little canoe up the coast all the way to Italy. I'm like, no way. They're like, yeah, they will do it. Who wants to do that? Who wants to be? Do you want another generation of that? Get you.
Now, the question about like the whole brain drain thing, you're not wrong. That is a thing there, and I don't know. I don't know if people on our side sincerely care about, you know, the brain drain on that side. That's kind of how I take that whole question.
Right. No. Yeah. Real quick. That's separate. That when I say that, that's not me saying Africans go back home. That's just me sitting there looking at it like, that's something that that's their problem. You know what I mean? Like that's something that they need to consider. It ain't my problem. That don't affect me, but that's something for them that they should be taking into consideration. But if they don't care, if they all about getting the hell out of Dodge, then hey, that's their choice. That ain't bothering me though. But yeah, go ahead.
And you know what? Was it another one of the Pan-African ideals was for Black people to return to the motherland and build it up too?
Yeah. I've heard people make that argument. When O'Shea used to do more interviews, he had a lot of Africans who used to essentially, not Africans, but Black Americans who used to basically talk about owning land and owning property in Africa and how it was easy to do, and they was laying out the whole battle plan of how you're not going to be able to build nothing here, but you can go over there and you could build it, as if Nigerians are not hostile at all. Like, I mean, I'm sitting there like, I mean, I hate to get stereotypical or sound like, but I can see some Nigerians with some machetes, just pulling up on my business out there. I'm like, I feel
that's how it might be sometimes.
I'm in a studio that I rent out, I rent out space here in my studio. I feel 100% secure and safe. There's a guy down the hall that does insurance, a white guy down the hall that does insurance. We both pay our rent to the same guy who owns the building, and we split the energy bill, and everything is cool, fine, and dandy, and peaceful over here running the business. Like, I mean, I'm like, what are you saying that we can't do here in America? Because I mean, I've done it when I was married. We owned a clothing store. I've post marriage. I've dabbled in a couple different businesses, and I'm like, I don't see. That's part of that's how I developed that whole, or got rid of the whole ain't nobody holding us back type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when the first time I was trying to get a loan, and when I had horrible credit, and then I rolled up my sleeves and did what I did to repair my credit, and I went in there to get a loan, and they were trying to give me more money than what I asked for. I'm like he told me, I was mad when he told me. He was like, well, based off this numbers and the analytics here and blah, 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 you actually could qualify for a loan of this size. I'm like, God damn it, don't tell me that. Don't have me making a bad decision. But, but I took out what I needed. But yeah, that's why I was like, man, it's like, that's how I got to the point where I'm not going on all of this racist stuff. And I for damn sure wasn't going on all of this. We need to go back to Africa. Like, no. Y'all are tripping.
It's so funny. I'm looking through the chat, and then, like, we're looking at these people doing their little boat canoe thing, and half the people in the chat like, I'm not going back. Like, fuck that. You can't show me a picture of the canoe that we traveled half the length of Africa just to escape to Italy. Like, nah, I'm not going back, bro. You showed me the escape route. Like, he literally showed you the escape canoe. Nobody wants to go back. And I don't blame you, bro. I understand. Like, why would I want you to go back there? I get it. You did all that you could do to get over here. Like, I thought we was black together. It was supposed to be all the blacks versus everybody else. Why I'm kicking you out?
Man.
But
That's
yo,
wild.
times are funny, bro. Things are changing, man. Things are changing.
Yeah, they are.
But
I think that was it with that one,
down.
right?
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I'm gonna pull that one down.
All right. Let's see. Hold up. Where we at? I think this is all right. This is our dear friend Tariq Nasheed, who I'm really no fan of ever since he I didn't watch it. I might well, it's too late to watch it in the name of doing content on it because it's old now. But when he made that, the first Hidden Colors, I actually watched that, and I was like, okay, this is cool. I was all right, it was well done. I was vibing with it, but that damn buck breaking documentary, I'm like, nigga, why do we need a buck breaking documentary? I was
yeah.
I was appalled. And it's funny on the black female black male hating side of YouTube, where I guess I don't know the divestment sphere, or I don't know what the hell they are. They was over there. They was calling niggas Bucky. Whenever a black man came in there and said something, they was like, "All right, Bucky." I was like that, and I couldn't get mad at him. I was like, "That's a good one." I couldn't get mad at it because how y'all over there, damn near aggrandizing some stuff that probably happened, but I don't really think. Okay, I'm not even about to try to debunk that, even though I think it's very debunkable. Put it like that. It's very debunkable in a time where you get killed for being gay in general. So, but they had some organized, systematic gay shit going on, with like that stuff is very very debunkable. But
there's one other thing to it, and this kind of like reinforces something else that I've been trying to express to guys, and they just don't seem to get it. But when we talk about all this black masculinity and how the black man is supposed to have a certain role and yada yada yada, all the manosphere talking points versus black women, you can't then turn around and sell to your women the idea that you have been nothing but oppressed and all you ever did is take L's and all you do is get your ass handed to you by the white man. Like, why should she respect you or your blackness? Nigga, this shit don't sell, bro.
Exactly. I've tried to explain that to people and I gave up. I said, you can't say the stuff that gets said about black women in this space, but then also complain about racism and oppression. Because if you're oppressed and dominated, then she's oppressed and dominated. If you're in captivity, she's in the captivity. So you can't say nothing to her about how she responded to the captivity. You the man, if you think that you're being oppressed, go defeat your oppressor, then come back and talk to her. That is a fair argument. That's a fair argument if you accept that you're some downtrodden, oppressed male. But if you're not, if you think more along the lines of me, that no, you're not oppressed, you a man, you can roll up your sleeves in this world, start your business, be successful, do whatever the hell you like. Like, no, if you take my position in your position, and you looking at black men and black women are as free people making free choices, now you can criticize those actions. But I don't think you can criticize black women and complain about racism and oppression at the same time. I mean, I don't think both of those can't coexist, at least to me in my mind. I don't. Yeah, that's where I'm at with that. That's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
It's some people in this space, in the black manosphere, who do them both, and I don't know how they do it. The two can't coexist to me. But here we go. Tariq Nasheed I guess this is
This tweet is crazy. You gotta read it first because what he's thinking about. Are we asking black? Are we want freebies from Africa now too? That's essentially what he's saying.
Okay, I see. White and Asians go into Africa and they are given land. Now, I don't know if they're given land. I think they got to barter and trade in some kind of way, but I don't know. I don't know. And some of them are even made honorary tribal chiefs. Now, that's weird. That's weird. But when foundational Black Americans say, let's have reciprocal pan-Africanism, where you give us land here too, where you give us land here too, so we can help you build. This is what they tell us. All right, let's.
If you want to buy the land, come and buy.
Here.
So my last point would be, if you're out there and you think you need to be given free land in Africa, shame upon you. This is my camera. Shame upon you. You should be ashamed of yourself. A big man, a big woman like you wants free land, free things. I'm sorry. You should be ashamed. Basically, you should be ashamed. If you want to buy the land, come and buy the land like any other person. That no one is giving me free land. I am pressed. I also want a free land, but you see me out here crying about it. No. So my last point would be, if you're out.
That right there is like almost the general tone that I hear, like, because I listen to a lot of these debates and it's hard to, because I haven't recorded them all, so it's hard to catch them live sometimes. But when you listen to the different camps actually engage on Twitter, it's basically variations of that argument. Like, no, what do you mean? Nothing's free. Like that's literally like the immigrant side versus the American side. And there's this, it's almost a political disagreement too, where it's like Black Americans want Black immigrants to adopt like Blackness, the political Blackness. And a lot of Black immigrants just aren't buying into it. And so little things like this pop up.
Now, I do understand that Asians have gone over in Africa and they're doing something over there. They're, I guess, digging some resources out of the ground. I don't know. And the Africans are letting them do it. I don't know if that's what's being talked about here, because I know somebody in the chat room is saying, but they don't tell them Asians a shame on them. But I do think like the Asian, put it like this, the Asian Asia is the continent. I guess Chinese. I guess it's China that's doing it. But so the Chinese government is making deals with the leaders of various African countries to come in there and do something, I don't know what. Or as Kiss My Asperger's has said, the Chinese have invested in Africa. Now, my understanding of it is it's some weird cockeyed deal, but then that's the African leadership that agreed to some weird cockeyed deal where the China is going to, I don't know if they're going to own part of Africa or take resources out of part of it in exchange for what the hell, I don't know. But that's not the same as somebody saying, "Hey, give us some land." That's not the same as that. Now, based off what I understand, I remember I think O'Shea had a debate on this. Oh no, they were talking about white farmers in South Africa. That was something different. But yeah, so the Asians are over there doing something, but I don't think it's as cut and dry as they just giving Chinese people land for free.
What I think really is happening, and what people are really kind of getting on the Africans about, is essentially China is buying up Africa on the cheap, little parcel at a time. And, there's a lot of corruption, fraud, abuse, and all that stuff that goes along with it too. I don't know how that really relates to the Black on Black conversation per se. We could talk about China essentially colonizing Africa, but that's I don't know what that has to do with two different Black people getting along or whatever.
Yeah. Hey, I just realized one thing that I haven't been seeing through here. Well, maybe I have. It just haven't been, maybe I've been doing it, just haven't been paying attention. But Hood Conservative Culture and Politics Reviews channel should be spamming out through the. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, I've been on it.
It has
I
been.
knew I
Yeah,
was on it. Okay,
it
cool.
has been.
Haven't been paying attention. Good stuff. Yeah, there it is right there. Yeah, make sure y'all go and subscribe. Make sure y'all go and subscribe. All right, where was we?
But here's a question. There's another clip that's going to come up, and it's I think it's the last clip I sent you, and it's really like a montage piece, and I think this kind of gets to the heart of the disagreement that I see forming up between the two camps, where like, you know, there are immigrant Black people who are essentially like, you know, left-wing pro-Blacks, and, you know, they're radicals in their own right. It's just that when it comes to America, they can't like really totally identify with certain things, because like in a Black country, you're only being oppressed by other Black people. Whereas in America, the dynamics bear out differently. And so I think there's a gap between the two groups, and they probably could never totally bridge the gap.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. That's a good point. I don't know. Well, I'm just trying to tease it out. I don't know if Africans look at oppression different. Like they will talk about colonization as their form of oppression. Actually, the chick that I dated from Kenya, she said that being colonized is like I mean, she had the victim narrative thing going, but she was like, being colonized is like a form of slavery. She basically called it slavery in a different form. So they still look at, you know, they have a white oppressor in their mind and their framework too. So they do look at it. They do look at it like that. I don't know. I'm just brainstorming. I'm trying to look at it. So I'm trying to figure out, you know, how Africans think when it comes to oppression, because but you know what though? Now that there's that's one aspect of it, the being colonized aspect of it. That's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is like their government is pretty damn corrupt. Their police is pretty damn brutal, I would say. She said you get pulled over, you get stopped by the police, they're more likely to just shake you down, have you hand over whatever little money you got. Otherwise, they just gonna take you to jail. Ain't no writing no tickets out there, you know. You somebody they write somebody a ticket, they go disappear in the backwoods of Kenya somewhere. They're not gonna get found. So they don't know.
Well, this is what I mean.
Yeah, so that's your point right there. Yeah, that's your point. They're being oppressed by other Black people, basically. Because like it ain't no way in hell. It ain't no way in hell if white people, we was getting pulled over by white police officers and it was just standard routine, they about to shake us down for some stuff. I mean, granted, okay, we talked about earlier how when something goes bad, it goes viral. But I can just speak through my experience, and I don't like to look at everything anecdotally through my experience, but police officers have been extra nice to me. I only have one event where he was fishing for some reason he wanted to search my car, and he was fishing for a reason to do it. And I think that, and I explained the story. I was, you know, riding dirty. And so that's normally how they find stuff. They normally catch you lacking on something else, and then that's their reason to search and then find something big. So he was looking for something big, but wasn't nothing big there. But I was, you know, my plate was 2 days expired, and I ended up going to jail for, you know, a couple hours or however long it take to go to jail and then get out, you know. But so that's my only, you know, bad experience where I was like. And granted, I was guilty of riding dirty, you know, bad plate and insurance. I was going to go all and take care of it, you know, on Monday. It was the end of the week, and I didn't take care of it. And I was younger, but I always say this just in case, you know, my channel get big and people start running my, you know, people find out my my real name. because Bernard's not my first name, but people find out my real name. They start running my criminal record. I put it out there. You're gonna find a bunch of speeding tickets. You're gonna find a lot of no proof of insurance tickets. I put that out there. That's what you're gonna find when you dig my stuff up. So you can't out me. You can't dox me. I already said it. It's a bunch of no proof of insurance tickets. That's what you're gonna find. Oh, and a DUI. I put my stuff out there. Just letting everybody know that's what's out there. But through all of that, I can name one time where he was just hell bent. He thought he found somebody either who was going to have some warrants or who was going to have some weed in the glove box. He emptied out my whole car, searched everything. That was only one bad experience. We're getting pulled over a lot, actually. But so over here, but I could just imagine if it was just routine over here when a white cop pull you over and you it's a full shakedown. Like you either hand him some money or he take you to jail. And there's no checks and balances to stop him from doing it. Like the amount, the way that we would look at that and take that, it would be crazy. It would be crazy if that was just standard operating procedure. When you're getting pulled over, they're pulling you over. They're the police officer, they're the authority, and they pulling you over to rob you. That's pretty much how she said it is in Kenya. Like just standard operating procedure. They pull you over, they stop you. You got to hand over something, or they just gonna take you to jail. But it's like, again, melanated people doing it to other heavily melanated people. So they don't view it as oppression, and they don't put oppression and racism together. They just look at it as corrupt government doing what corrupt government do. So they have a completely different relationship with oppression.
Well, with racism, I would say too, because I think what you're seeing in Black America is a little bit of like tension, and I joke about. Not joke, but I made a prediction rather that, in the future, Black Americans will essentially be like light skin, and the black people will be like an immigrant class or something like that. Because I think what's coming, your name's Ray. What I think is coming up is that you see, like how you were talking about, a lot of the more higher achieving Black people are immigrating to America, and what I think might be happening is a sense of real competition and a sense of displacement between the two groups. And with that displacement comes a displacement of like values and cultural competition even. And so now, if you pull up the next clip that I sent you with that montage, when you see a wave of African immigrants and the descendants of immigrants, like the children of immigrants, coming into politics, what does that mean to the traditional Black story? Because what does it mean for your quote Blackness to have to compete with Black people who don't sing the Black song?
That is interesting. That is interesting. Let me wait, I already got that down. Well, let me get rid of that and click on that. Oh, this is also from Bucky. No, just playing.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
Tariq Nasheed, he kind of started this fight, I think. Somehow, like, this is a while back now, but it's a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so back. But I don't know. He just somehow or another, this thing blew up, and he just started talking shit about the Africans.
Yeah, you know what? YouTubers do that, where they just run out of people to talk shit about, so they just find the enemy. Sometimes that happens. So it's a lot of YouTubers that have done that. But real quick, before we get into this video, I do have to take the time to acknowledge somebody who just signed up for the Patreon. And I don't want to reel off anyone's government name. So this is Ron. I'll say Ron F. Ron J. I'm just gonna call you Ron, man. I'm just gonna call you Ron because you got like look like a middle and last name on here. So I don't want to give off your government name, but I do appreciate you signing up on the Patreon end. And while I'm at it with that, we also I gotta put your name in lights real quick. I gotta put your name in lights because we just had who was that? Andrew S and Lylon G. I gotta get your name put on a jumbotron scrolling across the bottom. I appreciate y'all becoming Patreons. Y'all just recently signed up, so my Patreon is growing. I've been dropping Patreon only content. I've been taking more live streams down, and I've been doing original Patreon Patreon only content. I should say, not original. But I'm about to get y'all name scrolling at the bottom of the screen real quick. But anyway, Tariq Nasheed in here again. He says, this is how supporting immigration has worked out for foundational Black Americans. Oh yeah, I remember now, because I saw this video.
Let's think about this real quick. The idea, and this is what's so funny to me, like Black Americans are becoming anti-immigrant because of Black people. How, bro? What do you mean? We were always supporting immigration up until recently now, and you're going to pick on Black immigration to be why you're suddenly like pro-America. This whole thing is bizarre, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. But all right, let's roll it.
My ancestors come from the Caribbean, and there were slaves in the Caribbean. And we didn't
qualify for the American reparations.
Well, here's the challenge. There are so many difficulties with trying to enact reparations, in part because the question is who gets them. Potentially, I could fall into that category. I honestly have called a pipe dream in the past, and I think that's what it is.
Well, it would be nice if there was an elegant, simple solution to all sorts of complicated problems. You're not actually talking about how to fix those problems if you're only talking about reparations. If we're only debating how we're going to parcel out responsibility for something that happened more than a century ago. And we're probably never going to do this. It's not clear to me why we're pursuing this thing.
Is it fair that there's no reparations, no restitution, nothing?
Should the Irish get reparations, by the way? Irish need not apply signs when they came here during the Progressive era. Sure. I mean, how far do we want to take this down? Are we acknowledging that there are ugly spots in history? Because 60% of the world would be entitled to slave reparations if you wanted to play that game.
Well, here's a fact. Slavery ended 154 years ago. It's been a long, long time since we had slavery in this country. And you have people like my family. I'm Black, but my family came to the United States in 1962. My parents are from Costa Rica. Do I get a check?
I did a couple of essay contests that I actually won. And I won like NAACP AXO award for this essay and something else. I can't remember another, like I ended up winning money. And the essay was, do you think Black people should get reparations? And I was like, no, you didn't work for it.
Why are you so against reparations?
Valerie, it's a matter of a waste of time. We've got so much to do. And yet you have people who invest so much energy and attention on what I consider to be a dead-end idea, a dead-end movement.
If we were to pay reparations today, we would only divide the country further. We would insult many Black Americans by putting a price on the suffering of their ancestors.
All right. Oh, wait, that's it. That is it. Right. All right. There it is. What you got? Well, before I pass it to the hood servitor to see what he got on that one again, I got the newest Patreon scrolling down there at the bottom. It says, shout out to my newest Patreons, Andrew S, Lylon G, and Ron JF. I appreciate you guys becoming new patrons. Shout out to all of y'all. And like I said, a lot of these live streams, I'm gonna leave this one up, but a lot of these live streams, they will be a lot of them do come down. A lot of them come down because they have to, because I can't leave them on YouTube. But yeah. So a lot of the live streams will be on Patreon, and I've been doing Patreon only content. So make sure that y'all check out the Patreon. But anyway, all right, go ahead. What you got on this one?
Oh, yeah, I was just thinking. All right, so on top of what all these people were saying against reparations specifically, right? And you noted that what you saw on the screen was they said, oh, this person is Jamaican, this person's African, yada, yada, yada. This is like a distinct ideological shift that is coming from the Black immigrant population. And I was thinking about recently, I think in Minnesota, we were laughing about this on my channel one night. There's a guy running for governor, and he made like the news a little bit. He got a little famous because he wanted to ban like Black History Month. And I'm wondering, like, is there going to be like a competition between native blacks and immigrant blacks over like what it means to be black? Because it looks like it's kind of shaping up like that already. So I'm just wondering how this thing is going to play out.
It's looking like that, and this is again something I hadn't thought of. That now there's a newfound political angle on this. There's a newfound political angle on this where people like yourself who was born here, but parents were not born here, and here you are, you're almost 40. People like yourself in your age demographic, or older, or some a little younger probably, are getting into politics. And then when it comes to a lot of the black movements that take place in politics, I want to say black agenda, even though there's no clearly defined black agenda, but that's neither here nor there. Shout out to Ice Cube for trying. There's no clearly defined black agenda, but when these black movements start happening and people start, doing this, doing that, they're taking this political angle, that political angle. Well, these immigrants who, like I said before, are essentially like I said, a cut above the average. They either came from really good homes, the parents had the money to send them over there, or they were just a really exceptional, hardworking Kenyan or Nigerian who was able to save up 200,000 Kenyan shillings, or Nigerian. I think they got shillings as well, and convert that over to only $2,000, 2,000 American dollars. But you got to save up 200,000 of your currency in a third world country to make it over here. So these people are making it over here. They're the exceptional of their group, making it over here, and now they're getting political position because they're the exceptional. And that's part of the debate, and that's a whole nother digression that I'm not trying to get into today, where when we compare ourselves, black Americans, to immigrants, we're comparing their best to our average instead of comparing our best to their best. But that's a whole nother debate. But overall, it's a completely different angle, that if those that come over here who are a part of their best, they're cut above the average, are coming over here and they're getting into politics, but they have a completely different political agenda. I think that changes the landscape of blackness, or just overall black thought. And I would say in a good way, because it could potentially break us up from being so monolithic and just going completely, nobody votes for the same party at the rate that we do. In every other group, there's diversity of in who they vote for and how they vote. Black people, we like robots. We're drones. We're machines at the voting booth. Like, so,
right?
The black immigrants could be the ones that could possibly break this thing up. So go ahead.
Well, I'm just questioning the phrasing of their best versus not necessarily our best. What if it really is their best versus our best, and we're watching the competition play out and we're seeing the displacement, and you have to wonder, maybe it really is their best versus our best. What if their best are more competitive? Because like you said, we are so ideologically monolithic.
Mm-hmm.
So if we are that monolithic, maybe this is an issue of the best versus the best.
Well,
just worth considering is all I'm saying.
Oh, no, I understand. I understand exactly what you're saying. When I say their best versus our average, what I mean is that people will talk about how they score in school when they come over here, and compare it to the black average test scores or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but just the Africans, I tend to believe that the Africans over here ran away from, just like the same way that black people from the hood that got some sense, they get out the hood and don't look back. And so the Africans that got up out of Africa and didn't look back, I tend to believe the Africans that they were running away from would be doing just as bad as the black people over here that's doing bad if they got dropped off over here. That's what I tend to believe. But let's eliminate the average, the average African and the average Black American. Let's look at the best of Black Americans and the best of Africans that come over here. I think they are coming over here without the same type of gripes, I would say. I do content on this all the time. There was a woman. You corrected me on this because I called her intelligent. I think that was you, or it might have been Judge Zilla. Somebody corrected me on this, like, hey, you got to stop calling these people intelligent. But this I use air quotes, this intelligent woman who was I'm assuming she had some type of master's degree in something. She worked in the NFL, worked with athletes. I think she was like a sports agent. She said she drew up their contracts. So if you're that high up to where you're handling professional athletes $1 million contracts, I'm just going to assume you passed some benchmarks in school. Probably had some master's degree in business, possibly. You just don't show up with a bachelor's degree in basket weaving and get that job. At least I don't think. So I'm going to assume she has some kind of master's degree in business. But there she was as this intelligent person making the argument, the case that a professional athlete is no different from a stripper because they both use their body to make money. What's the difference? Telling a professional athlete you're no different than a stripper. Like, so that's so sometimes our elite, and I do think you're elite if you make it all the way up there to where you're at the top of that game where you're handling LeBron James, even though we know LeBron James' friend is an agent who Maverick Carter, that's who handles LeBron James' contract. But just go with me. I'm just using the name everybody know. If you're up there to where you're handling LeBron James' money, you're one of our best. I'll just say that you're one of our best. So I'm saying that to say one of our best will also make an argument that's stupid and putting the cape on for our worst. I don't think Africans cape for they're not going to come over here and cape for the dysfunction in black America. They're going to come over. Excuse me. They're going to come over here with their eye on the prize. And they like forget them niggas over there. We don't have to try to, our best and brightest are burdened with trying to lift up our downtrodden. But I'm like, so that's a different dynamic that the Africans, they come over here, they ain't worried about that. They come over here on a mission. So yeah, their best is still out competing our best, if that's the point that you was making. So I get where you're going.
I think also maybe this is a little bit of a class war issue too. Not class war, but like so if they're the best, they're coming over here competing with like our best and our like quote second best, if you could say, and it's creating like a struggle over placement and resources. So it's like we used to have a bunch of Black American actors taking over all the Black iconic roles, and now we literally have this cast of Black immigrant actors. Like Wakanda, the Black guy in Wakanda is literally like not Black American, but he is our hero. It's just this slight displacement of the Black image, and I think people are really starting to struggle over this now.
Yeah, a lot of people blew a gasket over did the woman that played Harriet Tubman, I don't think she was a Black American. I saw some people blowing a gasket over that. Like, no, that's supposed to be one of us. That's our role. That's our history. That's our this. That's don't get at to no Black immigrant. But yeah, that homeboy that was in Get Out, he got some fancy accent from somewhere. We're seeing a lot of them who they'll play iconic Black roles or iconic Black characters, and yeah, and they from
my boy played Fred Hampton.
Right, and killed it too. But yeah, he killed it. Oh, Tea and Crumpets nigga killed that Fred Hampton.
Yeah. He did. But because I like him as just an actor. He's good at his job, I suppose. But it's just this weird thing going on. It's like, and I'm fascinated because I kind of like, I'm not into the whole like race politics thing. So I look at it from the outside, and I'm watching on the one hand, like it's like we're fighting a war on two fronts now. It's so crazy because like we're fighting like the white supremacy, quote unquote, on the one side, but then on the other side, we're also fighting the Black people. Like, this shit is crazy. It really is ADOS versus everybody, and then people are forcing it this way, and it's, it sucks to watch.
Yeah. But it's ADOS versus everybody kind of, by choice. Like ADOS is bending over backwards to, to find another enemy. But that enemy is the pawns of the big enemy, because it's the white man who's controlling the black immigrants and making them and using them to further hold us back and hold us down. That's the argument.
Right, in a roundabout way, yeah. It's like you're being sent here to keep us back and to keep us from getting our reparations.
Yeah. Yeah, that's literally the argument. That's literally the argument. But at this point, we're 2.5 hours in. I put the link in the chat. If anybody want to come up and get a piece of this. I may change the title and thumbnail, because we did spend way more time talking about the FBA. I might change it to just, hold on, where's that comment? I may change it to FBA versus everybody. That may be the title of the stream.
Well, that's kind of why I sent you the email about this, and I mentioned it specifically because I know once it gets to like panel time, it would be a little bit unfair, because I know there were people in the chat kind of correcting me about like Tariq Nasheed didn't really start the drama, and that's fine. Maybe if I'm wrong, I'll stand corrected. But it would be better for the show to have people speak for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, I definitely want people to come up if they had some disagreement with anything that was said. The link is in the chat if you want to come up. But no, yeah, that changing the title and the thumbnail to more of a to reflect what we talked about the majority of the time, even though we did bounce around. Even though we did bounce around on some other stuff. But I kind of get the feeling ain't nobody coming up. So we may wrap. Let's see if infantry skills. Come on up, man. You the copy and paste champion of the world. Even though I think we clowned him so bad for that one copy and pasted comment that he used over and over again until we started clowning him about that, and now he's typing original thoughts. But he but he said everybody congratulate. Okay, yeah. I don't know what Mayo Monkey is saying in the chat room, but I think he's just a natural born triggerer just with the name. I think he's triggering people with that name alone. I don't know if he's down there clowning or not.
They're having some military guy dispute.
Oh, okay. I can just see people keep adding him. So whenever I see somebody's name getting added too much, I'm like, okay, something going on. M. Stewart says, but isn't what they are doing? I think she means it, but isn't that what they are doing? You just played a video. There's also a Caribbean reparations group that Black Americans are not allowed to be involved in. Wait a minute, Caribbeans are trying to get reparations from the United States government?
Right. How does that work?
I don't know how that worked, but if they trying to get reparations from the United States government, they better not get caught hating on Black Americans trying to get reparations. They can't do that. Come on, Candace Owens. You gotta argue both sides equally, because she's from the Caribbean. She better call out her people if she's saying that Black Americans that descendants of slaves don't deserve reparations. She better equally call out her Caribbeans. If she don't do that, she on some bullshit. She on some bullshit if she don't do that.
I had no idea that was even a thing. Like, how do the Caribbeans expect to get reparations from whom exactly?
Okay, Snuggles probably would know, because I think Snuggles is not ADOS. She's I don't know where the hell she's from, but she says they are not trying to get reparations from the United States. She might got some little Caribbean accent. I know. I heard her speak one time. He said they are not trying to get reparations from the United States. They are trying to get it from the British. It's called CARICOM. I have no idea, but there's somebody else that's in the chat room corroborating Snuggles' statement. So fair enough. Okay. If they was trying to get it from the US, that would have been a whole nother thing. That'd been a whole nother thing.
Wow.
But I still I still want to know what Candace Owens think about that one. I still want to know that.
Wait, so I was just got exposed to something new. So there's literally a global reparations movement, and we're trying to get it from all the white countries. Okay, wow, that's new. That's a step forward, I suppose.
Yeah, make them pay up. God damn it, pay up. Leon 008 in the building says to get reparations, you have to start with the Portuguese and West Africa. Yeah, they owe us.
Oh shit! See, now we back to fighting Africans again.
Yeah. I think he's talking about the slave trade. It was out of West Africa. If you're a descendant of slave, you more than likely came out of West Africa. So we gotta go back and find the great grandkids of the chief who sold us to the white, who sold our great granddaddy to the white man, and then they got to give us some reparations.
How could we do that if we're also saying that we were actually Native Americans and the slave trade isn't really real?
No. Hey,
right.
I know. Okay. When I first heard that one, I was like, okay, somebody has a new theory. Great, whatever. I wasn't tripping until I heard the same person in the same 15-minute time block make both of those arguments at the same time. I'm sitting there listening like nobody gonna correct them. Like, you can't hold both of those positions. Not at the same. You can pick one or the other, but you can't hold both of those positions at the same time.
I don't truly know, and this is where it's weird for me even, because like I remember I had a conversation with a guy named Top Cats a while back, and I think I was on Ramil's channel. Mm-hmm. And he was saying he was explaining the whole, black people are Native Americans, yada yada yada. We traveled back from Africa, got here sometime back in the past or whatever. And he made a couple of points that at least it didn't totally seal the deal for me, but it fleshed out the argument so I could understand where he was coming from a little bit better. And then since then, I've looked further into it. There is a little bit of evidence for the argument on here. Like both sides have some facts to it. It's hard to know if anything is totally true, if it's all of either one thing.
It's true in the sense that somebody had to migrate to America. Okay, civilization did start in Africa. That's science proves that. That means if human beings are somewhere other than Africa, that means they left Africa. When they left, I'm pretty sure they still looked like some damn Africans. Now, then they talk about how over time, surviving the ice age, blah, 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 adapting to new environments, people started looking different, blah, 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 blah. Eventually, they walked from Russia to Alaska over some sheet of ice, blah, 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 and worked their way down through Canada to America. And whether or not they still look like niggas by the time they made it there is a completely, I don't know. But if somebody is saying that by the time they made it, after some 30, 40, 50,000 years after they left Africa, they still looked black, but then also there was still a slave trade that happened. But still, you can't, one individual can't claim both. Both of those things can kind of have happened, but one individual can't say, yeah, man, we were slaves. But then that same individual say, no, my ancestors migrated over. You need to figure that out before you start making any one of those arguments definitively. That's where I'm at with that. All right. That's where I'll go with that. But anyway, we got people coming up waiting to get a word in edgewise here. We got Royce J and Leon 008. Okay, hold on, wait. Somebody is challenging what I said. That's false, Bernard. That called the out of Africa theory is not a fact, my dude. The out of okay. Again, if you answer yes or no, do you acknowledge that human beings originated out of Africa? Once you acknowledge that, only one or two things had to happen. Either human beings originated from Africa and then they gradually left Africa, like all species migrate. The population grows, the people migrate for whatever reason, So you either have to acknowledge that they either started in Africa, then they left Africa, or you have to say that they started in Africa and then some other group of people with lighter skin crawled out of a rock in Europe. Some other people with lighter, I don't know why they call them yellow, but some other people came up out of a rock in Asia. Some other people came up out of a rock somewhere. Like, no, it's either one or the other. Either there was 7 distinct creation events all over the earth, or 7 distinct evolution events all over the earth, or humans evolved one time and migrated, or they were created one time and migrated. But you can't make an argument that says there were multiple evolution events or multiple creation events. You have to make a choice. That's so is it yes or no? Which one? Do you think it was multiple creation events, or one creation event and people migrated out, or one evolution event and then people migrated out?
I'll think about that. We had to sit down and think back to the Ice Age when ice, covered the United States and Africa and Europe and people. That's why they have Asian people that went from the top and ended up in Canada. Ice Age, pretty much. That's how people traveled, and they stopped and they lived in the places that they lived. That's why you have countries underwater that they can go underwater and look at. But we think of how the world is now and saying, no, they couldn't have traveled by boat. But when you think Ice Age, again, there's many countries underwater. The other part about, I think they're called like the ADOS, and they're fighting with the African people. Like you said earlier, like we take their best. So their perception of their best is, wow, what they see when they come to the United States, they see a lot of chaos between Black people, but it's the same chaos that they see in their own fucking countries. It's actually worse chaos in their countries. So it's all perception. Like, am I wrong because I'm with a Caribbean woman? She's Jamaican. She's a Jamaican Indian. Does that take away from my kid reparations if we get it? Because that's a different, Britain owned them. But Americans tend to get mixed up with the history of when this country became white dominated, and that was after the Civil War. And they made laws in 1776 or some shit around that area after the Civil War and all that kind of stuff. The reparation talk, since it's global now, is that people see, wait, there's so many Black people in Colombia, Brazil, all those countries in South America, and they've been treated bad. They brought West Africa into it, and you don't have to look for the kings. Like, some of the people are still alive and they have American names, and they're rich in West Africa and in America. And there was a guy that wrote about.
Wait, hold on. Let me back up. Yeah. Are you saying that there's somebody that we could go to in Africa? Like, it's like you were implying that there's a door we can knock on to try to get some reparations.
Yes. There are still people from those bloodlines that were were slave traders. Yes,
they're old money families. Hold on, wait. Are you saying that these people?
It's been written about.
Let me get my question out. Are you saying these individuals owe us some money, or the government of these countries now owe us some money? Which one are you saying?
Oh, well, I'm not enough informed to tell you that part. I just read a lot on it, and there was a college student that came here, but he's from West Africa, and his family, slave traded, and he's Black.
I know, but my thing is, if you're trying to take that argument to its logical conclusion, I don't think you can ever go to it. Okay, thank you. Okay, because the fact that those families still exist and those families are still rich, the individuals don't owe other individuals money because of something that our great grandparents did. But I do get that. I can follow the logic of a country giving out some reparations. I can follow the logic in that. That's why I'm saying it is. If there's a particular country, I was being sarcastic when I said track down the surviving chief of a tribe or something, and I was being sarcastic.
Well,
when I said
that's an issue in and of itself, though, right? No. How old is any African country really? What, 50, 70 years max? Like as an actual recognized nation, because we're talking about, regions 100 years ago that weren't proper countries by our understanding, regions that are dominated by tribes. Now you're talking about an actual proper nation who can legitimately say, we didn't do that.
Exactly. That's more or less what I was getting at. But real quick, damn it, what was I trying to do? Well, I'm gonna pass it to Royce J. Well, I'm trying to get that together. Go ahead. You got it.
What's up, Bernard? What's up,
What's going
panel?
on?
It's been a while since we talked, Bernard.
Oh yeah. I was just thinking that. Right when I passed it to you. It's been a minute since you've been up. Yeah, glad to have you back on the show.
I be watching from the clouds, watching all of the Manosphere Negro nonsense in your chat. It's hilarious. It's delicious, in fact.
Oh yeah.
All right, coming from somebody, I, in full disclosure, am a person of Central American, Caribbean, and
E. Capone.
Black American.
Silence. Hold on. Wait, time out. E. Capone, silence that goddamn dog.
Oh shit.
All right, go ahead, Royce J.
Dog back there gang banging. Dog set tripping.
Right.
But I as a person with I have Black American background on one side. I have Central American and Caribbean background on the other. Actually, my people are from the island of Roatan, off the coast of Honduras in the Bay Islands. I have relatives in Puerto Rico, Belize, Cuba, and a few other places. I'm pretty international. Well, I'll say multi-bordered, but at the same time, with that history, we have been immigrating back and forth from the mainlands of the U.S. since before the U.S. was a thing, So, in knowing that, and knowing what's taught in Caribbean schools and Central American schools, and understanding the history of Alabama, Louisiana, and Florida, I'm going to tell you, Black Americans, right now, that whole ADOS thing that you guys are coming up with is a fallacy, because it's American descendants of slaves. First of all, the Caribbean is part of America. South America is part of America. Central America is part of America. So when you say American, the Bahamas, it's really a part of America.
It's not part of the United States of America, though.
Okay, but the term is not UDOS, it's ADOS. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not us DOS, it's ADOS. There is no US in it.
Slavery, too. It's the actual institution of slavery.
Again, it's not United States descendants of slaves.
We got it.
Yeah, we get it. Okay, so when you say American, you include the entire continent of America and all of its little islands and peninsulas and all of that stuff. If you look at how South Florida, Louisiana, and Alabama, if you look at what went on in those places, a lot of the so-called Black Americans there are of Haitian descent, Cuban descent, Jamaican descent, Bahamian descent. If you look at how South Florida was built, it was a bunch of Bahamians that built South Florida from the Keys all the way up to Miami. They built that place.
But CARICOM actually addresses those people.
And we're going to get to the CARICOM part. So understanding the migrations and even the integration of certain things into what we call Black American culture, there's a lot of intermingling. You had Dominican, what's his names? What are those guys? I just on the tip of my tongue.
Long story short, what you're saying is that it's so much racial mixing and diversity. I mean,
It's
Hood Conservative,
ethnic.
who's co-hosting the show today, is an example of that. His dad came over on a boat, and his mom was born here, and they created him, and now
Right.
so it's
I have
it's so jumbled up. It's like he owned like if we get a reparations check, he deserves half of a
But I
reparations
mean,
check.
that's actually being addressed. There's a minimal requirement that one person, that one relative, that one parent that is descended from U.S. chattel slavery it qualifies hood conservative under the rules that are being established.
Are we going with the one drop rule?
No, it's not one drop rule.
It's like like just one full-blooded American ADOS sibling. I mean parent.
Parent, yeah. I mean, it's not even full-blooded. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. There's gradations to this, and when people are arguing straw man arguments, they want to make it black and white. They want to be like, well, it's America, so then we gotta have all the Americas included. You know that's
well. Let me ask you this: when you sound like you've done some research on this, theoretically speaking, if somebody came over on a boat in 1971, and in 1981 they impregnate somebody who was half white and half Black American descendant of slaves, would that person who is 25% descendant of slave, would they, per the rules, regulations, and requirements, get a reparations check?
There's another requirement that's being added that person has to have identified as Black for a certain period of time.
What?
After that? Yeah, absolutely.
Whoa, hold on.
We're playing the identity game now.
Identify.
Yes.
I mean,
Okay,
this is for all the people
all
that
right,
say
wait
it's
a
something
minute.
that can't be done. It's something that can't be done, and they're like, "Oh, I never want to hear it." So when it does come,
so Jesse,
you want to know
Williams,
whether you've actually been Black.
Jesse Williams, who we didn't know was Black until he told us at the BET Awards. We had no idea.
Jesse Williams Black.
No, we didn't know. Everybody else didn't know he was Black until he told us when he got up there and gave, like, I think, a Black Lives Matter speech. It was like, oh shit, damn, we didn't know you was Black. But so because that was his public identifying as Black moment. And then 5 years later, if reparations checks were passed out, somebody like him who either identified as Black publicly, whether it's social media or in that case, I think the BET Awards or whatever it was, now that person can get a reparations check because they publicly, socially identified as Black.
No, not publicly. I mean, you can actually put it on your census. It could be on,
and there is that's where the nonsense.
Hold on, wait a minute. You shouldn't have used the word identify as. You should. That's probably the right word. It's probably the right word. But when I think of somebody identifying as, I look at that as a social thing. Like, there's a lot of people who are half Black, half white, but if you ask them, they just say, "Hey, I'm Black," you know.
Right.
So, but there are some people who are some variation of mixture, and they could pass in some other way, even though they genetically they genetically
Ronda Rousey.
I'll give you an example.
Like a Ronda Rousey.
I don't know what you mean. Ronda Rousey is the
Ronda Rousey has a Black great grandfather
from Canada.
Canada. The hell out.
And he's a freedom fighter. He's basically a freedom fighter.
God.
He's from the Caribbean, though.
Wow.
I'm saying he was.
And
Ronda Rousey is a strong Black woman. I love this. All of a sudden, I'm so happy I met you guys.
Her grandfather's recognized in Canada for what he did.
In Canada,
he's a Black guy.
He's not in this discussion, right?
No, he's
he's absolutely in this discussion. First of all,
he's from Canada, descended from
you look at the Blacks
from the Caribbean.
You look at the Blacks. You look at, first of all, okay, we're going to go back to this again. You look at the Blacks in Louisiana. You look at the Black people in Louisiana. Many of them are of Haitian descent. And not only that, either Haitian or Puerto Rican.
Where, in Florida?
In Louisiana.
In Louisiana, okay.
In Louisiana. You look at a lot of the Blacks in Southern Alabama are either of Cuban or Puerto Rican descent.
Were their families enslaved in the United States?
Mine were.
I don't know. That right there, I couldn't tell you. That is something you would have to individually ask them. But but at the same time, there being of those Caribbean country descents, that is a fact. That's the other part. That's something that's an individual thing where you would have to go through their family lineage, or they would have to do that to answer that question. But as far as the greater demographics, we know that many of those blacks in places like Southern Alabama, in Louisiana, and especially Florida, many of those people are of Caribbean descent. And then when you start talking the East Coast, when you go up north and you start talking New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, and stuff, many of those Black Americans are at some point of Caribbean Black descent. Doesn't mean that they weren't in slavery. Doesn't mean that they didn't experience Jim Crow or that their ancestors didn't experience it. What it simply means is
But
that
were
at
they
some point,
enslaved in the United States?
what?
Were their ancestors enslaved in the United States?
The Virgin Islands is the United States. That's part of the United States.
Not the contiguous United States.
Well, anyway,
because the Virgin Islands wasn't part of the United States when slavery.
Anyway, getting back to what I was saying, because there's a lot of immigration and has been a lot of immigration back and forth. Like a part of my family in Belize is actually they're descendants of the people that Lincoln sent over for the U.S. over to Belize when he wanted to get rid of black people. They were some of those people that got sent over.
All right. I think we got it. I think your overall general point is that it's a logistical nightmare to even try to figure out who's going to get reparations and who's not going to get reparations.
Exactly.
It's a logistical nightmare to the point to where Rachel Dolezal gonna get a check.
Exactly. Which was another thing I was going to bring up. There's a town in Ohio where you have white-looking people that identify as black. Many Creoles in Louisiana, they identify as black people, but when you look at them, they look like white people. They look like Italians and Puerto Ricans.
Do they have an ancestor that was enslaved?
They do.
Okay,
and they'll
then.
tell you.
They're good.
They'll tell you.
They're good.
Okay,
that's it. You're just
Wait
making
a
it more
minute.
complicated for your argument's sake. But I'm gonna tell you,
I'm not making it complicated. The
okay, wait. I want to wait a minute. Time out.
That whole ADOS designation. That's the complication. It's not complicated to me because I know the history.
Yeah.
I know the logistical nightmare that me and Bernard was talking about.
Okay, then
I know what it is.
I get it. Hold on, wait. Pause it.
Trillions on the line.
I'm gonna pass to you in a second, Fawcett. I do want to go to E. Capone and get him in here before I formally, because you ain't even had your turn to speak yet. You just been jumping in on Royce Jakes and stuff. But hold on, I'm gonna throw it to you in a second. But Texas Road Man in the building. He says there's no Roya, or I don't know if you mean Royal African family that traded slaves in Africa and is rich today because of what the chiefs traded prisoners of war for guns and liquor. All right, well, we'll lean with and rock with that. Somebody else, shoot, where you at? I know I saw Will Brown in the building. Thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate that. Appreciate everybody who supports the stream. And damn it, it was something else that I was about to get to. It'll come back to me. It was something important I was about to throw out there. But go ahead, E. Capone, you got it.
Yeah, man. This whole ADOS, non-ADOS conversation to me, is kind of silly. It's kind of silly, because we all need each other. I know it's kind of cliche to say that, but ultimately we all need each other. We need to, and we're allies. My parents, they're not from here. They're from Belize too, and they came out here in the 70s, and so I grew up out here. And so when I hear people say that, you're not black if you're not ADOS, to me, I kind of take that personal because it's just like, I grew up black, and all my family, we identify as black. So for somebody to turn around and say
you get a check, you identify. That's it.
Nobody said Capone. What part of Belize your family from, man? My family is Oh, okay. Oh, geez. But they're gonna.
See, I don't speak Garifuna.
You know what it is, though.
Yeah, I know what it is. Yeah.
All
Nah,
right, all
Capone,
right.
you know you speak that shit. You just trying to make sure you get a check. You trying to.
No, man. When I was younger, I spoke it, but when I went to school, they used to make fun of me. You know what I'm saying? So I just stopped.
You let it go.
Let it
I
go.
get it.
Yeah. They used to
I
make fun
get
of me,
it.
but
I
that was
get
then.
it, bro.
Now it's all good.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Fawcett Media. So I'll go ahead and throw it to you. I know before you responded to Royce J, you probably had something that you initially wanted to come up and say. So we're gonna throw it to you on that. So go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to let people know, like, Black Americans, ADOS, they don't have anything against foreigners, but for some reason, and I hate to even say foreigners, like, we've always reached out across the Pan-African diaspora. Like, we've felt kinship with people from other continents that shared our skin color. But for some reason, when we bring up the topic of reparations, there's so much resistance. And I think right now, just at this moment, ADOS people are starting to get a little pissed off about it. Because every time we bring up reparations, it's a question of, oh, well, who qualifies? Who gets it? I want to get it. My family wasn't here for slavery, but somehow I feel like I should get it because I'm Black. Can we handle first things first? This first round, this first argument has to be about U.S. chattel slavery.
All right.
CARICOM's got their own thing.
Wait, hold on. Let him go. Let him get it out. Let him get it out.
CARICOM's got their own thing going on, which actually predates ADOS or any other type of movement, because most of the other movements are just offshoots of ADOS that have kind of gone off and done their own version of it, for their own purposes. And they're also muddying the discussion. It becomes a less intellectual discussion, although that ADOS has gotten into the mud online, of course, and they're kind of clouding the thing. And so you wonder if there's some type of purposeful resistance to this stuff. Like, why is that video that Bernard showed so consistent with every one of those people being descended from somewhere other than here and being opposed to reparations, vehemently opposed, publicly opposed? Like, why aren't you all helping ADOS people get reparations?
Well, I'll say this. Whether they're for or against, they should acknowledge one thing, especially if they. I'm trying to figure out the best way to look at this. They probably should stay out of it. I understand that argument. Candace Owens, she's from the Caribbeans.
She's Jamaican.
Her position should be, it ain't my fight. But if you want my opinion, I mean, I'll give you my opinion if you ask, but it ain't my fight. That's but she don't do that. It's like she puts her fist in the air and leads the charge. Like so I do understand it from that perspective that to some degree, that they probably should just stay out of it. Say, hey, that's them over there. That's
you know what?
I personally,
I
they could say I personally disagree, but for them to if they're making a whole political agenda about their disagreement, I do understand, like, what is that for? Now I've heard some people who are, come on, I think you could hold on, let me see, is that somebody got some squealing?
Babies and dogs.
Somebody got some squealing in the background. If you got kids, dogs, stray cats in the alley, I don't know whatever's going on. Like, yeah, it's I muted the people who I think it was, but if you got background noise, somebody saying Candace Owens from the Virgin Islands. Candace Owens is one of those people who just conveniently started identifying as Black. I think she used to identify as something else, but then when she became the voice of Black, when she became the voice
elected.
When she became the voice of Black conservatism, she started, wearing the black card a little more. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I acknowledge that exists.
She also got a settlement with the NAACP when she was a teenager. I don't think you remember that.
No, yeah,
she was woke black. That's the difference. She was on the left black. Now she's on the right black. So
right,
so she was black when it was
Candace
convenient, when there was some money attached
for the highest bidder. She's for whoever the highest bidder is. That's who Candace is for.
So I want to go back to the notion, and this wasn't even the topic. Me and Conservative was just breaking down just the fight and the disagreement in whether or not black people, black Americans are essentially damn near being racist. They turn it into the bully that they hated, so to speak, when it comes to that. I think that was a good discussion we was having. But now that we already here and we're talking about the who will get reparations and who don't, I think what you're talking about, and maybe you know more about this than me, is it to the point to where they actually took the time to just make some damn rules and say that, okay, if you got at least one parent who was a descendant of a slave, then you're in. Or if you got one parent who was a half descendant of a slave, then you're in. Did they draw a clear line in the sand of who's in and who's out so people can shut up about it? That's to Fawcett Media.
So allegedly that's what HR 40 is supposed to do, but it's been set up as a bill that will go nowhere. So now people like Sandy Darity, people like Yvette Carnell, people like Antonio Moore, they're adding new elements to this that they were adding new elements to this up until probably about last year when everything went to hell and HR 40 became just a political football, really. But they're trying to get it into a place where you can have a study and a commission on reparations that would then allow some of these guidelines to be met, some of these guidelines to be put into place so that we can get this out of the way. But the opposition, the loud swell, the loud minority even, because if you really look at America, ADOS is the majority black population. That's not an accident. I mean, it's but for some reason it sounds like we've got just as much opposition coming from black people from throughout the diaspora that have immigrated here. Mm-hmm. And they want to have an equal voice in this fight. And it's like, look, there's 400 years prior to your arrival that we are trying to litigate here.
Yeah.
Why do you have so much opposition? And do you not think that if black people get money in their hands that somehow it might benefit some other black people? Money, land, whatever else you want to say. Don't you think it would benefit some of these people that are fighting tooth and nail against it?
Can I ask you a question? There's a certain, I'm asking SMG specifically, there's a certain idea that I want you to speak to and tell me if I'm wrong or not. There's this sense that black immigrants come to America essentially, whether they like it or try to or not, they come to America basically piggybacking off of black struggles, but then they turn around and don't identify with what I call, political blackness. And I think that's really the problem here. Yes, they're black, and all this time we've told each other we're all black together, but when it really comes down to it, they don't want to carry that one element of the blackness, and I think it's starting to fall apart, and people are seeing that, well, maybe we were never all quite black together.
Right, but they don't even want to recognize the fact that black people set up the framework to allow other black people to immigrate here. They didn't want any more black people here. They were trying to get rid of the ones that they have, that they had after slavery. They're trying to send them back to Liberia, send them to Liberia or somewhere,
Well, that's not fair to say though, because the Back to Africa movement was spearheaded by black people.
Oh well, yeah, there was some people that desired to go back, but I'm talking about post-slavery. That Marcus Garvey movement came way later.
I mean, there was an argument.
There was always sentiments of that. You know what I'm saying? Even through through abolition.
There was the argument of like, what do you do with them? You should send them all back. Like, I guess that is true, but I'm looking at this argument between like the FBA and the immigrant blacks, and I'm wondering if there is like a sense of displacement from the American side, like you guys are basically watering down the thing that we fought for.
I wouldn't say watering down. I mean, I just think they need to support. They need this. We need our immigrant.
Why do they need to
support us? Because it will benefit the whole. It'll benefit all of us. You know how many black people are trying to move back to Africa anyway, like just on a Tuesday. And
well, you can't. That's
saying, like,
weird
that's
to
gonna be
say
an
if so many
influx.
Africans are coming here, though. Black people don't seem to be moving back to Africa at the rates that Africans are moving to America.
There's quite a few of them. There's quite a few of them. I mean, if they had their druthers, if they had, like, some people talk about the fact that you know, they talk about the land portion of it. Well, why aren't they offering us any land back in Africa? Well, I think even if we went back and purchased some land in some cases, I think there would be, if there was a framework set up that allowed that, you know, I think a lot of Black Americans would invest in Africa. You know what I'm saying? Not me necessarily, but
What?
I'm sure there are some.
Let me ask you this now. And I guess this is the kind of the nature of the whole conversation. What is the Black American response if you really see that Black immigrants don't think they benefit from the Black race game? Because I think that's kind of what's being fought about. Like when it comes to reparations, I think reparations is the obvious flashpoint. But what I think is really happening is Black immigrants, by and large, aren't really buying into race politics the same way Black Americans are.
That's it.
True. But this is what I'm saying. Like, politically, you can have two minds. Nobody is 100% conservative. No one is 100% liberal. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's even fiscal conservatives who could see the benefit in an influx of capital into the Black community. Correct? Right?
Well, that yes, but I don't think that argument holds up to people who have earned their own capital in a certain way. Like I don't know if that argument sells to the immigrant class who have literally pulled themselves up by the bootstraps before they ever had boots.
Well, I would argue that the ADOS population, and this is a popular phrase that some people have used, were the boots.
Again, it's hard for you to say that. I mean, not hard for you. I just don't think that's the immigrant view of things. Whether right or wrong kind of goes out the window. This is just their position. Like, it's hard to be, because this is really what I hear happening. And you know, I'm trying to kind of represent the argument because I kind of just been watching it play out, and I don't want to, you know, I don't really take one side or the other. I think the fight is just interesting and weird, but the immigrants are kind of telling the Americans, like, your position is a position of laziness. Like, they're flat out saying it openly.
That brings me right to my point, my response to his statement of, you know, going back to what the conservative said. If the immigrants, you know, they're not buying that argument because they pulled themselves up by the bootstraps before they even had boots, then Fawcett Media says, well, the ADOS Black Americans were the boots. So if we are the boots that gave them the boots to pull themselves, the bootstraps to pull themselves up by, then why aren't we as a group doing better then? Like that. So that's how I'm looking at that. Like, we should be doing better if we're all of this, that we're the people who enabled and empowered them to do better. Well, why haven't we benefited from that then?
Well, I mean, there were certain injections of capital into other communities that made an unfair advantage for them. I mean, if you look at like World War II, my grandfather was a World War II veteran, and there was certain benefits that white veterans got that Black veterans were left out of. You know what I'm saying? As far as like the injection of cash at certain points in history that kind of buoyed these other communities. I think
Let
black
me
people
try
will
it
be
like
farther
this, though.
along without systemic racism blocking them at every turn.
We're not comparing. We're
Not
not
a victory,
comparing
though. Not a
black and
victory.
white, though. Like, it's literally not a black and white discussion, and that's why it's interesting. And I really wanted to have this conversation openly because I think that it's a fascinating moment in blackness to have the black immigrants like call niggas out essentially, because like, bro, it doesn't matter if we're held behind from the white man. We're talking about why the black people are out competing us. And you can't say that they had some white supremacy plan to make the Africans more competitive. Like, all right, maybe you can explain it.
Well, I mean, I don't feel like they're actually out competing us. There's a very small population of African immigrants that are here that are very well off. But by and large, most black immigrant groups that come here are living in the same conditions as black Americans, correct?
Roughly,
the same,
okay.
if not worse.
I don't know that to be true.
Yeah, I'm not sure where you're going.
It's not a one-to-one comparison that every African immigrant or Caribbean immigrant that comes to America does better than a black American. Because there's more black Americans than all these other groups combined.
No. When you look at like rankings of which ethnic groups are more economically successful,
right?
I think that's when
in several coastal cities, probably, mostly.
Well, that's where the population densities happen to be. I don't know if that's a fair knock on the test, but I think what's being expressed is that there's a new group, and whether or not they're out competing us at the moment is really not the conversation point. It's the fact that there is competition. There has never been competition over, quote, blackness. We have never had an open struggle for, what it means to be black. We've never had black people telling other black people, get out of here. You're not black. No, you're not black enough. Like, this is a weird battle.
But I would still argue
I don't know if
black Americans are not losing that. There are still successful black Americans. But by and large, I think when you do the whole numbers of the black community, by and large, we don't have anywhere near the wealth of white America or any other America, Asian America. There's a chasm.
What about Nigerian America? What about Ghanaian America?
But that's if they split off to themselves. But even when you count them in the group with black Americans, we're still doing way worse.
No. You misunderstand the dynamic. I'm not saying separate. I mean, I'm not saying count them together. I'm saying compare Black American ADOS, the way the fight is breaking up, to Nigerian America, to Ghanaian American, or to just all of immigrant America. Like, well, that's really what the camps are breaking down to.
But that goes back to your conversation about the elite of that country coming here. You're not getting the Nigerian Pookie over here necessarily.
Exactly.
You're not getting
that part is true.
Life isn't fair.
You're literally, I mean, but you're doing an average.
No. Life isn't fair. Your competition
you're doing an average on the whole group. I'm not saying that they're outperforming.
It won't matter.
We're still hanging with them, though. We're still hanging with them. But here's my point:
matter in that
is
sense.
that you're counting our lowest. You're counting our poverty-stricken all the way up to our Ivy League educated and our millionaire class, because we hardly have any billionaires. And you're bringing them over there and comparing the two groups when there's never been a comparison.
And what I'm saying,
like
the threat,
they're literally
not
royalty
threat per se.
In some cases.
What I'm saying is, as that happens, attitudes, postures, and behaviors will shift, and that is the conflict. And so, like we're arguing about reparations, it is a good possibility that the reparations conversation could just be drowned out by Black people who don't want to talk about it.
Drowned out how? ADOS,
by not
Black
talking
Americans
about it at all. You just won't be able to hold the floor because they have the money.
How could they? they're
you just said it. No, you just said it. You
though.
just said
I
it.
Just said
because
but
they have the money though. But they have the money, and money
Let me
speaks
get
louder than.
Do you have the population
voices.
numbers on Bernard? Do you have population numbers on Black Americans versus all other Black immigrants?
I don't know the exact population numbers.
It's
and I don't want to
minuscule.
I know they're very
It's
small.
growing rapidly. Our numbers are
It's
flat,
growing.
actually.
It's loud
Hold on,
online.
wait, time out, one at a time. It's growing, but I think the point that Hood Conservative is making is that it's not just growing. A lot of them have a microphone. So
Exactly.
the
A loud
public
minority.
discourse, the public discourse is changing in terms of Black people in America and the megaphone that they speak into and what they say when they speak into it. I think that's starting to change. One thing that wasn't the topic today that I do want to circle back to, because you brought up the amount of wealth that white people have compared to what Black people have. Now that's not the topic, and I think Hood Conservative rightly pointed out that's
But
sort of
that's the real
irrelevant.
discussion.
No, it is a real discussion. It's just not necessarily the topic today, but I do want to touch on it. I think he rightfully pointed out that this is really about Black people versus Black people in America versus Black Americans versus Black immigrants who are becoming Black Americans as well. It's confusing when you say it, but when it comes to white people and white wealth, a very small percentage of them via capitalism owns a really large percentage of that wealth. When it comes to like we talking about billionaires, we talking about Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, a billionaire, like 50% of the wealth in this country is in the hands of like the top 1%. Like Jeff Bezos is a capitalist. What he's doing with Amazon is
That's the super wealthy. I'm going to say
no, hold on.
upper
I
middle
got wait,
class
bro, hold on. Give me a second. I'm about to work my way down to them.
Okay.
The people like that, the white people don't even benefit from his wealth. In fact, white people are hurt by his wealth, because if you look at how he does that business, if selling all those products online, if those were sold, if all those products that are being sold online were sold in separate business storefronts, that would be hundreds of thousands of businesses hiring millions of employees. He's able to do that with 20,000 employees. So he's shitting on the white business class by hoarding all of that money and ability to get products out there. So what I'm saying all that to say that capitalism makes it to where a very small percentage of people at the top are going to win, and they're going to kick everybody's ass and put their foot on everybody's neck, white, black, green, or whatever. When it comes to regular folks in wealth, most white people wealth comes from they got married and they bought a house. That's simple.
Or
That's
they inherited a house.
So fucking what? That's the problem right there. I don't understand why we still complain about them inheriting a house when you are a grown adult man who could do what you got to do to buy a house and then have your son inherit the house. And if enough of black people do that, that part of the problem is solved. So why we still bitching? Why we still bitching about somebody that somebody's meemaw bought a house back in 1930 and then passed it down to her kids in 1970, and then she passed it to her kids in the 90s. Why does that matter? Roll up your sleeves and buy a house today.
But the same thing did not happen in the black community going back generations. Now you roll that up. You roll it up into this current day. I'm just telling you how it works. We have to start over every generation as Black Americans. And
really, we don't. Ever since 1965, and basically redlining and all kind of other stuff became illegal.
Right.
Ever since then, we've been free and able to roll up our sleeves, compete, and buy up property.
But today they'll give you a lower assessment on your house in your black neighborhood. They will.
There are reasons why black neighborhoods have a lower property value, and I ain't even trying to get into that.
Okay, but just know that contributes. These things are contributing.
But hold on, but it's not stopping you from buying a house. So you can still buy that house. You can own that house, but because it's in a bad neighborhood, because it's in the hood, instead of it being a $170,000 house, it's a $120,000 house. So this family has more wealth on paper. A white family would have more wealth on paper in a house that they don't intend on selling anyway, and that wealth is going to fluctuate, give or take how good the market is. So I mean, but either way it go, if it was apples to apples in terms of us making sure our credit was right, rolling up our sleeves, doing what we need to do, and buying up the properties, then we're not talking about a difference of the average black family having a net worth of what 10,000, 12, 20,000 or so compared to a white family having an average net worth of like 120,000 or whatever it is. We're not talking about that difference. We're talking about a difference in market value in said areas if it was apples to apples and how many houses we were buying. So we're not buying houses, and if most people's wealth is tied up in their home and black people are not buying houses, you can't complain about a wealth gap. It's like, do what you got to do to buy some fucking property and then end it right there.
I gotta interject something, because just this whole scene is raising a question. What are black people gonna do? Black people who have this idea that buying a house is somehow mysteriously out of your reach. What are we gonna do in the face of other black people who don't even imagine such a thing? They're just gonna, I'm gonna buy this house one day. And next thing you know, they've been mowing grass and grabbing bottles, collecting bottles and working night jobs until they own them a house, and then they buy the house and then their kids live in it. Like, what are black people going to do in the face of other black people who just don't think like this?
Oh, they don't think of buying a house and building generational wealth?
No, they don't think they're going to be held back in their attempt to buy the house and build the wealth. They just don't see any invisible thing holding them back.
Black people are some of the most
But you just argued it,
people.
though.
Black people are some of the most optimistic
But
people.
you literally argued it, though. You argued it, though. That's my whole point.
No, you're putting words in my mouth,
this is a thing that's going to hold people back. You brought up
I didn't say that.
Like,
Bernard actually brought up the house
against black people
being the only piece of wealth that white America,
white America, it's a big one. Most people don't own a profitable business.
I didn't say any of that.
Let's say so. Yeah, it's most people, their wealth is tied up in property.
Right.
Absolutely.
No, property and non-tangible. What do they call it? Non-durable goods or something like that. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, long story short, this is a complicated subject. And I just hope that at some point we can stop having to argue with other black people about this and get to the real conversation, which is this wealth gap conversation. But we're having to argue with our own people, quote unquote.
I get you on that.
Before we even get to the door of where the real fight is. And that's bullshit.
I feel you on that. I do. And when you look at the wealth gap situation, you look at it as that gap can only be closed by a reparations check being cut. Now I'm on record saying this, that I don't listen. If they cut us a check, I'm not about to fight against a check that I'm going to cash if they send it to me. So that's why I stay out of it. But I don't even get in it. But I understand the arguments completely as to why it's not even talking about that logistical nightmare. Not even talking. It's so many reasons why it don't even make sense at this point to cut a reparations check. However, if the fine folks at the black delegation figure it out, send the proposal to the government and they sign it and they send me a check, I'm gonna cash it. So that's why I don't even like to talk about it. I'm like, hey,
they figured out how to pay everybody else.
Right. So I mean, like, go ahead and
Native Americans, Armenians.
I'm not getting in your way. I'm not getting in your way. Because so
anyway, man.
That's where I'm at with it.
I feel you, man. I'm not gonna hold up too much of your time. I just want to get in here and clarify.
I'm glad you came up. I did want somebody. I always want pushback. I always want somebody to give a different view. So yeah, I'm definitely glad you came up. But no, we was about to wrap this thing up. Anyway. When you leave here, I dropped a pre-recorded video this morning. Help a brother out on the views. Drop in there. Click the video. I'm putting the link in the chat for it right now. Hit the like button on it. You know, help a brother out. Shout out to a Poor Man's Podcast. Give me the HBO special. Help a brother out. Help a brother out. Go in there, click the video. watch it, hit the like button. But on real quick, Robert H in the building, he says we have to start over every generation because we are raised by single mothers who have no money to retire on. Damn sure can't pass something on. Get out of there. That ain't the topic today. Well, it always is really.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that. Yeah.
But all right. But real quick, as we get out of here, Hood Conservative, you got any final words, man? Another great show. I need a fake applause button to push to make a fake applause come up. No, this is a good show today. Thank you. Who did that?
That was me.
My man.
I got my roadcaster. Finally got it.
Right on time. Do that. I got some little stream deck thing where I'm supposed to be able to put. I don't know how to do it.
Oh yeah, you can do it on there.
What you could do that? Are you doing that with StreamYard? I mean,
no, this is actually the hardware roadcaster.
That came out of that noise came out of a speaker.
No, it's playing in my earphones, but it's actually on the soundboard. There's actually a soundboard. It's just a MP3 file. You put it on there, you press it whenever.
And you could do that with actual StreamYard.
Yeah, well, I'm doing it just through my mic setup here.
I know. I'm talking about when you on your own, when you on your own show.
Oh yeah.
Using StreamYard without integrating some OBS or nothing like that. You can just.
Yeah. Yep, we just did it.
Damn it! You gotta. All right, nigga, quit showing off. But you got to show me how to do that. But because I can't. I'm bad with. It take me a long time to figure stuff out. It is what it is.
Yeah,
I know.
But sound effects are tricky.
I got this one too.
YouTubian.
Yeah, I'm a YouTubian all day, but I don't know what I'm doing. Shout out Leon 008. He said, I really am enjoying this. Thank you very much. But Hood Service, give us some last words. Take us home.
Oh, no, well, just thanks for having me up again one more time. This was another interesting conversation because, like I said, I just watched these things playing out, and I wonder what it means for the future going forward because, we're all just sort of like individuals, but this thing is bigger than any one of us, this whole blackness question, and I wonder where it's going to go in the future because, right now, we're watching all kinds of weird elements of the whole black conversation express itself. That's why the CRT thing is a thing. Then there's the reparations conversation. Now we have this civil war with the native blacks and the immigrant blacks, and it's just all kinds of stuff going on. So it was just a good day to sit down and just honestly just have a discussion about that one small angle about it. And thank you to SMG and the other guys on the panel who came up because I really do want to just talk about things, and not have acrimony and all that stuff. Cause a lot of this stuff is just, people do have their viewpoints based on whatever, they've learned, but really this, what I think is going on is and I joke about this on Twitter, but there is a struggle for Black identity, not a struggle, but a quest. People are really Black Americans, it seems are in this weird position of fighting for an identity and also looking for and building an identity at the same time. And so thank you guys for just coming up and then chopping up some little angles of that with me.
All right. And also one last thing I want to point out about a reparations check. Okay, let me make sure I get this right. During slavery, a white person and a slave have sex and they make a half white kid, and then that half white kid has sex and that makes a baby with a full white person, and then that 25% white person has a kid with a full white person. They go all the way down the line. That person today walking around is just looking like your typical standard run-of-the-mill full-blooded white person who has an ancestor who was a slave. So it's full-blooded white people. They got an ancestor.
They called themselves white on the census.
Okay. So that's where that identify as Black thing. So they calling themselves white on census. They can't get it because they can't get it, even though they have a direct ancestor.
I'm gonna fuck you guys up right now. I shit you not. At the end of the Civil War, when Civil War actually broke out, and actually for the duration of slavery in America, there were in fact white slaves. And I don't mean indentured servants who came from Ireland and Britain, not that actual classification. I mean actual chattel, I could whip you if I fucking want to, white slaves. And the reason why is because of what you just said, Bernard.
Yeah.
Or that one drop rule. Yeah. I mean,
so why
but this
can't
is the
white
thing,
people
though.
ask for their reparations? Like seriously,
Can
Bernard,
they
why can't
trace
white
the person
people
back?
ask for their fucking reparations?
And this
Right.
is
This is
why
you're
white
speaking of a
people
minority
deserve reparations, because we have to hear this shit.
Minority
What?
of a minority. This is 1%
Okay.
of the argument, and we're making it the whole argument. That's what I'm saying.
It's not the whole argument, but I was just basing it strictly off what you said. If you have an ancestor who was a slave, there
Right.
are white people walking around today that have a direct ancestor who
But
was
do
a
they
slave.
identify as black?
Right. So that's why I said you can end the logistical nightmare by laying out strict rules, and these are the rules, and we got to stick to these rules no matter what. That way that can end the logistical nightmare. I keep trying to get out of here, but thank y'all for those super chats on the way to the door. Storyteller in the building says, Fawcett, please give us a tutorial. I'm in the same boat as Bernard with my Stream Deck. Absolutely, man. Yeah, we need that tutorial. Is your email on your channel?
Mine? Yeah.
So like if I go to your about section, I can find your email.
Yeah. Fawcett Media Group at Gmail.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna come looking for it. E Capone in the building says, thanks for having me on the panel. Excellent show. Absolutely. A story to tell says, not today, but one day, please, brother. Oh yeah, I think he's talking about that tutorial. But no, absolutely. But all right, y'all, we are out of here. Peace. I need an outro video and music and all of that good stuff. I ain't got it yet, so we closing it out. We out of here. Peace, and we gone.